much anticipated alumni weekend kicked off last night with a memorable and emotional induction of Jim Thome onto the Phillies Wall of Fame before a future Wall of Famer turned the night into a grand style party. And Howard hits it well, deep to right center field, way back there, gone into the Rockies bullpen. Grand slam for Ryan Howard. Jim Thome can appreciate that sweet swing. There is something special about Alumni Weekend here in Philadelphia. It's a chance to say hello to old friends like Real Cormier and Bobby Abreu, or even guys like Todd Pratt, who had 2 different stints with the Phillies, or Milt Thompson, who not only played for the Phillies but coached with the Phillies. It's Weekends with Schmidt, presented by Acme Markets, as the Phils and the Colorado Rockies in Game 2 of this 3-game series. The Phillies franchise has been around for more than 130 years, and there have been all kinds of characters that have come through the gates, whether it be at the Baker Bowl, whether it be at Shive Park, the Vet, or Citizens Bank Park, Hall of Famers, or just very special players. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, joined by Matt Stairs, Mike Schmidt, 2 very special Phillies players in their own right. We get set for today's ball game. I know you guys get a chance to reminisce with some old friends, but also from a Phillies standpoint, we get a chance to see somebody do something special like Ryan Howard did last night.
That's right. Good to be back with you guys after 2 weeks. Enjoyed you on television every night. Anyway, Ryan Howard. Golly, you know we've talked about Ryan so much, and with good reason. He's one of the great offensive players in Phillies history. And it's so good to see him getting a little bit hot right now in a limited role. But one thing I want to point out is this guy is a good guy.
Yeah.
He could have made this awful tough on the Phillies going into this limited role, and he's handled it professionally as a man could do, and I'm very impressed with that. Anyway, Ryan had a great night last night, came off the bench. Here you see it on the screen. A misplay by the Rockies defense, and boom! Ryan backed up into that tough zone pitch to a left-hander, right, Matt? That down and in fastball, straight away center field. That looked like the Ryan Howard of old right there, and he hits a sharp single up the middle for another RBI. In the previous game, came off the bench and hit a double with the bases loaded. So Ryan won't be in the starting lineup tonight because there's a left-hander on the mound, but he's heating up right now. No telling what he could do. And let's enjoy these last couple of months.
Absolutely. It could be his last couple of months in a Phillies uniform. Now, for Cesar Hernandez, he's just scratching the surface. Last night he did something he had never done before. In fact, he did it twice. He had 2 13-pitch at-bats.
Well, he did something that you'd love to see a leadoff hitter do, is see a lot of pitches. And what happens is you see what type of fastball he's throwing, how the movement is, what type of curveball he's seeing, how he's throwing a slider. So what it does is the guy on deck gets a chance to see the pitches and get his timing down. His first at-bat last night saw 13 pitches, and he saw every single pitch that you need to see. It was a fastball inside. He was fighting him off. The hard slider down and in, which was great, strikeout pitch. The big curveball when he needed to throw a curveball. All he did was putting the ball in play, and that's the key for a leadoff guy, is making the pitcher work. Now all of a sudden that pitch count's getting up. He's getting frustrated. You keep on throwing fastballs, eventually he's going to make a mistake. And what happens when you make a mistake is you end up driving the ball to right center for a triple. So a great job last night by Cesar Hernandez, seeing 13 at-bat pitches. His first at-bat, the second at-bat he saw 8, and his third at-bat he saw 13. And right there was the 13th pitch. Great swing, hit that ball to right center at 398. Easy triple.
Well, easy triple, and it was just a bobble away of possibly sending him home, but it was still a way to set up the first run of the game. It was nice to see. We'll see if he can do it again tonight. On a hot night here in Philadelphia, it is Game 2 of this 3-game series. It will be Jerad Eickhoff facing the Rockies for a second time this year. He's opposed by Tyler Anderson, making his 12th start. Lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota, the annual clearance sale is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Taking the field. Jared Eickhoff is finishing up his warm-up tosses as we speak. The Phillies alums introduced before the start of the ball game. There was only one guy, though, that was able to get a victory lap. It was great to see the reaction of the fans. Let's take a look at the Rockies lineup. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Blackmon, LeMahieu, and Gonzalez. Nolan Arenado, the third baseman, bats cleanup. Then David Dahl and Daniel Descalso. At the bottom third of Ben Paulson, Tony Walters, and Tyler Anderson. They will face Jared Eickhoff, who's picked up his first victory since July 4th, his last time up. He still is tied for the league lead in losses, but his earned run average 3.78, and this will be his second appearance against the Rockies this year. Facing Charlie Blackmon, who had a heck of a night last night. Blackmon hit 3 home runs, 15th time in franchise history somebody had done that. And the first pitch is in there. We're underway.
Take a look at the scouting report. Right around 91, 92 miles an hour. He is a 4-pitch pitcher, and 1-3 with a 5.24 ERA over his last 5 starts.
1 ball and 1 strike to Charlie Blackmon.
Yeah, quite a night Blackmon had last night. This is really the first time I ever got to sit in front of the TV and watch this guy hit. And what a great stroke. You guys talked about it. Great balance. Got the leg kick, and you don't see the leg kick guys that often be that on balance, keeping their bat back. Very impressive. These, I tell you what, those first 4 hitters for the Rockies.
They're good hitters.
Pretty darn good lineup, guys.
That ball's in there for a strike. It's 2-2. Well, they're among the leaders. We have a lot of offensive categories.
321, 328, 323, 284, 338, whoa.
Well, Blackmon, 19 hits, 6 home runs in the last 7 games. Look at the names on the list that he joins, including Kirby Puckett. That'll go foul. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Jimmy Fox is on that list. He has been red hot. Look at Al Simmons. And that is a list. That's a Hall of Fame list right there.
19 hits and 6 home runs over 7 games. Everything is in slow motion.
Sure is. His average up to 321.
It's a short stroke too. It's not a long stroke. It's really kind of a short and quick stroke. We see the leg kick and think it's long, but it's not. He's sitting back and identifying the ball.
Well, he finished 3 for 4 in last night's ball game with those 3 home runs. He also walked once. Up high, 3-2. During this hitting streak, he's 19 for 33. And now the 3-2 pitch to Blackmon. Swing and a miss. He got him out front. That's the first slider that we've seen from Eickhoff. Was that a changeup, Matt?
That was a good changeup out there.
Time now for our keys to the game, brought to you by Nissan.
Well, for me, Eickhoff, trust your curveball. Seems like over the last few months, his curveball has been going down, down, and down. But his last outing, he threw a lot of curveballs, and it was very good.
Mine was Cesar Hernandez, and him understanding how valuable it is for him to put those kind of at-bats out there. And you surely can't ask him to have 13 pitch at-bats on a regular basis. But to being that confident and getting the 2 strikes and fouling pitches off and fouling them all, last night's game should take him to a new level.
Well, you can ask him to do it. Just probably won't happen.
He did have that one at bat last night where he swung at the first pitch. He just had seen too many pitches.
Couldn't Richie Ashburn, didn't they say he could foul balls off anytime he wanted?
Yeah, they did. 1-0 pitch to LeMahieu. Tap back toward the middle. That'll sneak into center field, a base hit. So DJ LeMahieu, among the leaders in hitting, continues to hit. He came into this ball game with an average of 328.
Ashburn used to, he used to hit people. Didn't he try to hit people with foul balls?
His his ability with, to the crowd, yes. His ability to handle the bat, though. Oof. So 1 man on. Here's Carlos Gonzalez. He's had a sore ankle, sore foot recently. He's hitting 323. And even though it's been sporadic over the last couple of days, he's still riding an 18-game hitting streak. 23 home runs, 79 runs batted in. And this is part of the top of the order that Mike was talking about. A formidable top 4. Swings at the first pitch and pops it up into foul territory. Tommy Joseph will give it a look, but it's going to be back into the seats. And it's 0-1.
Well, and if you look at their top 4 hitters, you have a lefty, righty, lefty, righty. which puts a lot of pressure on a manager to, one, pick your poison. Do you want to bring a left-hander in to face the lefties? Well, maybe not, because you want to face Arenado with a right-hander. It's hard to say.
How about that Jason Worth, 41 games on base.
Talk about a renaissance. No balls and 1 strike. Runner leads off first. Up high, 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Matt, you know, these guys and their great numbers, I mean, you don't attribute that a great deal to the ballpark they play in, do you? I mean, I don't. They're just darn good hitters,
No,
right?
there's very good hitters. There's some splits.
The ball gets away as it goes back toward Jared Eichhoff. And it hits Stu Cole.
But they called time, though. As soon as they threw the ball back, they called time.
I was looking down, so I didn't really see what happened other than a ball heading for
I didn't see
the
them call
third base
time.
coach.
But they must have. That's why Stu Cole stopped the ball.
Well, yeah, because
Did LeMahieu want to do some landscaping? Is that why?
I'm not. Well, no, it was just the first base umpire called time after he threw it past Eichhoff's head.
1 ball, 1 strike to Gonzalez. LeMahieu, not a big lead. And that one is floated out towards center field, and that'll drop in front of Altair.
Man, that was a bullet. You know, he probably thought it was going to dive and get to the ground, but it kind of hung up there.
It did hang up. Well, that puts runners on first and second now for the Rockies.
Look at this. Ball middle out, straight away. That thing was a frozen rope.
Altair playing center field tonight again with the lefty on the mound. Odubel Herrera getting the night off once again. And now here's Arenado. Arenado, 284 with 30 home runs and 93 runs batted in. You see those numbers at the bottom of the last 6 games? That includes an 0 for 4 last night. 421 during this stretch.
You know, last night in that at bat where he got the sacrifice fly, I thought that he went 0-2 on a couple of curveballs in that at bat. Remember, and then he ended up fighting off a fly ball to right field for a sacrifice fly. And he did not have a very good night last night. But I'm going to tell you, this guy, somebody to be reckoned with. I mean, I did an interview earlier today with the Rockies TV guys, and you know, we talked about him. And I met him at the Gold Glove banquet 2 years ago when he was getting his Gold Glove. And very nice young man, and I tell you what, I mean, I'm gonna start watching him more.
He is as sound defensively as you will find.
He's almost first in every category in the National League.
Yes, he is. Including home runs, RBIs. 1 ball, 1 strike with runners on first and second.
You know what's funny is we don't really, a lot of people don't know that about him, you know, where he stands in the National League. You imagine if he played for New York?
Well, that's just it. It's nothing against the organization, but you're in the National League West. As you take a look at his numbers right there, the only place he's struggling is the slugging percentage at .564. He's only 6th.
Fastball. That it's 2-2. 91 on that fastball from Eichhoff. Well, Jared just trying to put these guys away. It's a hefty pitch count already here in the first with 1 man down.
You know, I mean, trouble working up a sweat tonight.
No, he probably got loose just walking out to
we
the bullpen.
worked one up standing on the third base.
Could you guys feel it a little bit?
Brutal.
Over to third. Michael Franco's got it to second for 1. Hernandez to first, and that'll do it for Eichhoff. A 5-4-3 double play. Well, that is certainly helpful after 2 guys get on base with 1 man down. No runs, 2 hits, 1 man left. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Rockies nothing, and the Phillies coming up. 2 of this 3-game series. Let's take a look at the Phillies lineup, brought to you by Xfinity. The Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Hernandez, Borges, and Altair, followed by Tommy Joseph, Maikel Franco, and Carlos Ruiz. Tyler Goodell's in left field. He'll bat 7th. Freddie Galvis 8th. And batting 9th and pitching is Jared Eichhoff. And they'll face the left-hander Tyler Anderson for the 2nd time this year. Anderson 4-3 with an ERA of 3.04. How about in 11 starts, the earned run average is the best in franchise history after 11 starts.
That's pretty good.
He also pitched well against the Phillies the last time they faced each other out in Denver.
I think any numbers like that pitching in Colorado is tremendous. Let's take a look at the scouting report. The only thing on that scouting report that's not there is that he has a little funky delivery with his foot where it's a pause. But like Gray last night, he's been very good since the All-Star break with a 3.06 ERA.
Selected in the first round of the 2011 draft, and he'll face Cesar Hernandez, who has reached base safely in 19 straight. Cesar takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Cesar is now 8 for 21 against the Rockies this year. His average comfortably at 287. On base percentage not too shabby at 347. It'll be Hernandez, Borges, and Aaron Altair to start things off for the Phillies here in the bottom of the first. Two balls and 1 strike. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Kenny Canody of Elizabethville. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, and Kenny will win $100. McDonald's Mix and Match Eddie 2 for just $2.50 on McDonald's McPick 2 menu.
I love this new approach that Cesar's doing. Just patient. Like he almost spit on that ball. He didn't even think about swinging at it.
We were talking about that last night with some of those pitches that he took in the 2-13 pitch at bats. How close they were.
Now I wonder if someone's mentioned something to him about, hey, listen, you're at the top of the lineup. Start seeing some more pitches. It helps you. It helps your teammates.
Broken bat, base hit into center field.
6-pitch at bat. He must have been listening to my key to the
I was going to say we're 1 for 1, but Eichhoff hasn't thrown a curveball yet.
Well, Cesar has now reached base safely in 20 straight. Here's Peter Borges. Peter's overall number is at 254, but you see what he's done against left-handers. So part of the reason why he's batting 2nd tonight. Plus the speed combination of Hernandez and Borges. And you throw Altair in there. It's a pretty nice combination at the top of the order. Dead ends at foul, and it's 0-1.
I've been impressed this year how the guys early in the lineup and even Freddie down at the bottom occasionally or when he's up front have incorporated the bunt for a base hit so much this year. I think they've gotten comfortable bunting for base hits. Occasionally you might see a try probably when it wasn't the greatest time, to try it, but they'll learn but. Man, with these guys and their speed, all they got to do is get it down. 20 base hits, yeah. Someone just whispered that in my ear.
Fly ball to right field. Carlos Gonzalez under it. And 1 away. That'll bring Aaron Altair to the plate. Yeah, the 20 bunt base hits have led to the 3rd most infield hits, and that's because of their speed. They have 118 infield hits. Aaron Altair hitting .254 with 3 home runs. Last night he was 2 for 5 with a run scored and an RBI. The impressive thing about Altair since he's come back are just the RBI totals that he's picked up. Basically averaging an RBI per game. His splits so far in limited action between home and road. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
I like the fact that he has 10 runs scored as well. He just brings great defense, more speed, a threat for a long ball or a gap ball. And he has, what, 3 doubles this year?
You would think that his power numbers will keep increasing with with more playing time.
Absolutely.
Well, I like him as a 280, 25.
Yeah.
280, 25, 80 to 90. Worst case, RBI guy. 15 to 20 bags.
Pete hasn't been afraid to move him around in the lineup either, whether it be second, third, fifth, sixth, even cleanup. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Altair with a runner at first. And he hits it foul toward the second deck.
Use the whole field, kind of stays in the middle a lot, and last night he hit a rocket straightaway by the pitcher, a line drive, and a knack for RBIs, and that's probably the hardest thing of all to teach a young hitter, for them to become, as an RBI guy.
Got a pretty good pitch to hit there. Swing and a foul tip hung on to by Walters. And there are 2 outs. First strikeout for the left-hander. He has 58 strikeouts and 68 2/3.
The dreaded fastball up in the zone where it looks so good.
Yeah.
You can think you can hit it.
Swung through many of those back in the day.
I probably had 300 or 400 swings of those.
Looked so good coming out of his hand. Yeah. How to get above my bat.
Especially someone who throws 90, 91 miles an hour.
First pitch to Tommy Joseph is up high. Matt, you're right about the herky-jerkiness. I kind of forgot about that since the last time we saw him. That little hesitation probably takes a little bit of time to get used to.
He has a little mule kick, but again, as a hitter, you're not looking at his leg. You're looking at, as soon as the hand leaves his glove, that's when you start your movement.
2 balls and no strikes to Joseph.
That's a good take right there. That slider is in the strike zone a lot of the way to the plate. Means he's waiting on the ball, seeing the ball good.
He's gotten better these last 3 starts, you can see, particularly with his changeup. He lets a fastball go. Ryan Howard, who played first base last night against the right-hander, came through with his 14th career grand slam.
Well, it's just a tough night when you drive in 5 and you gotta watch the game the next night. Not to mention 3 the night before, right?
Yeah. Got the green light. 3-0, 3-1. I think the fact that he is hitting better lately makes Pete's decision a little tougher as far as, all right, when do I play him again?
I would agree.
Particularly if Tommy scuffles a little bit. Outside, ball 4. Second base runner for the Phils in this inning. First walk. They'll put runners on first and second. Well, here is that grand slam.
This is so loud. Again, the fans' reaction.
Yeah,
Ryan
cool.
Howard's reaction, but best of all, the pitcher's reaction.
He does have a cool, what would you call it, launch position. After he hits it, when he knows he's got it. 14 grand slams, yeah.
Now that A-Rod
would be way left.
He would be
with 23.
15. That's what we were told last
A-Rod grand
night.
slams?
Yeah.
No, he's over 20.
Is he?
I'm thinking.
All right, let's go to the cloud on that one.
I could be wrong. I usually am. That's what my wife tells me. I'm saying he's got like 23.
Franco hits it well out toward left center field. On the run is Blackmon out toward the wall. It is gone! Home run, Maikel Franco! 3-run shot here in the first. And the Phils lead it 3-0.
I like go to Tommy Joseph's good at bat where he draws the walk, gets Franco up there. McHale didn't have a very good night last night. Watched him on TV. I thought it was a pretty, I want to say, sloppy night hitting. Everybody else was getting their knocks, and he did. That was a high slider, Matt. I think what we call, here it is right here. Watch this thing kind of, I don't know what it does. High changeup, something weird.
Kenny Canody of Elizabethville, you've won $100 thanks to Maikel Franco and the McDonald's home run jackpot. And the Phillies lead it 3-0. And Matt, you are correct. 25 grand slams for A-Rod.
I knew he was in the 20s. I've probably seen in hand 4 or 5 of them.
No balls and 2 strikes. Ruiz 265. Franco, that's good to see. 21 home runs now, 69 runs batted in. And now the 0-2 pitch to Carlos. Fouls it off to the right.
You know what's great about it is that it's the location of where the home run was hit. It was over the State Farm, just left of the 409 sign. Where yesterday, and Mike, you talked about yesterday, kind of had a sloppy game hitting wise. He was just in pull mode again. When he gets in trouble, he gets in pull mode, and he wants to hit home runs to left field.
421 feet is the estimated distance on that home run.
Speaking of stances, you guys told me Ryan Howard has made some adjustments. Doesn't Chooch, to me, looks
straight up
big time different. Has he been this way for a while?
That one's out toward left center field. Blackman on the run. He got a good jump. Makes the catch.
I would say he's been in that position of hitting wise probably since July 5th, July 6th.
Well, Maikel Franco, first home run since the first couple days of August. This is a great sight to see with the Phillies getting a 3-0 lead as we go to the second here in South Philadelphia. Coors Light. Well, we're almost there, halfway there for the Phillies. Runs per game in the month of August, they're third. The Rockies are first. The Indians are tied with the Rockies at 6.6, but that's a good sign for the Phillies since they're averaging a little more than 3 per game overall. First pitch swinging by Dahl, and he rolls it foul. It's 0-1. Pete's talked about that each and every day when he sits and meets with the media. I think he's pleasantly surprised about the offense. He kept saying for the first few months it's only a matter of time. Curved ball hit foul. No balls and 2 strikes to David Dahl, who had a 17-game hitting streak to begin his career. Stopped last night. And in the meantime, his average dropped 20 points from 358 to 338.
Well, last night he saw a steady diet of off speed. Sliders, changeups, fastballs inside. Doesn't take very long to get the report going around Major League Baseball saying that this young fella can hit a fastball. He's a very good fastball hitter.
2-2 pitch. Up high, 3-2. First round pick in 2012. Started the year in Double-A, then went to Triple-A and did it quickly. Fouls it back over the screen.
Mike, playing in this weather, did it bother you? The hot,
I loved
muggy?
it. I loved it.
I did too. I loved it because it didn't take very many swings on deck to get loose.
Well, we thought it was hot down on the field today. Imagine what it was like when you guys played at the Vet. 92 degrees is the current conditions.
Remind me not to eat ice cream while I'm broadcasting a game.
Some people can do it. Some people can't. There are guys that can eat peanuts before a broadcast, and I don't know how they can do it. Another one back to the screen.
Matty, on that subject, I used to love hot games. You're sweating right from the get-go. You're relaxed. You don't have to fight. You know, when you have a real, like a chilly, cold game, how you get these little kind of shivers and you know your hands are cold. It's just the opposite when it's hot. You know, the pitcher's laboring because it's so hot. This is our chance as hitters to get back at these pitchers because they get nice and loose when it's cold and our hands are freezing. We can't feel the bat. They take advantage of us.
Plus, they run out of gas quicker. Unless you see, like you see right here, 9 pitches this at bat. As a hitter, you get tired a little bit after that.
Here is the 10th pitch of the AB for Dahl. And a line drive toward left center field. That'll be in for a base hit. Altair cuts it off. Dahl's thinking 2. The throw to second is not going to be in time. It just didn't have enough gas on it. So that's his second double since being brought up.
Nice hitting there. A rough night last night. Well, now he's hitting 18 and 19.
Yeah, really. It's not a bad way to start.
Showed some serious speed there, too, Matt. I mean, that was a relatively easy double.
So runner in scoring position, Descalso is the batter. He was 0 for 3 last night with a run scored. Playing shortstop again. How about the amount of games Descalso's played in the postseason during his career because of his time with the Cardinals? Franco into foul territory and is there. Makes the catch right against the tarp.
Just like last night. Mike, you know better than anyone how important it is not to coast in those baseballs right there. To find them, mark, and get there.
That's for sure. Mikhail banged my knees on those tarps many a time right there. That's a nice play. No, he kind of knew where he was, knew the warning track. It's a good play. Not very good hitting by Descalso, whose job was to advance that runner by hitting the ball to the right side.
Ben Paulson, the hitter, he was 0 for 3 last night. Takes a curveball for a strike, 0-1. Well, he's thrown a couple curves. That's the slowest he has thrown tonight. The other one, I think, was at 79.
Yeah, he overthrew that first one.
Fastball up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
If you were a hitter, this hitter right now, would you have like something off speed, breaking ball, back door, like kind of in the back of your mind?
To the right side. Tommy Joseph finds the bag. 4-3 on the putout. Well, Alumni Weekend will wrap up tomorrow. It's Toyota Wall of Fame Fathead for all fans coming to the ballpark. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Some of the alums have been around the ballpark signing autographs tonight. Real Cormier, Bobby Abreu. We talked about those guys before. Have you seen Real today, Matt?
I was downstairs talking to him for a bit. He played, I know it's hard to believe, but he played a few rounds of golf.
Today?
Yesterday, actually. Him and Leibs went to, what's the #1 course in the world?
Pine Valley.
He played Pine Valley, he said.
Must be nice to
You
be
knew
Real
that.
Cormier.
No, I've never played that course.
Tony Walters takes outside. It's 1 ball, no strikes.
He says it was just brutal. Like, I did a hitting clinic this morning at the Philadelphia Hit Zone.
Let me rephrase this so we can get you on the course eventually. The weather was brutal.
No, yeah.
The course was beautiful.
Oh, no, the course is amazing. You know what I meant.
Inside, it's 2-0.
He said it was amazing, but he said it was hot. And I did clinics this morning, and it was
Outside?
yeah. 12-year-old kids today.
I'm surprised
Just-
they even let him out
I
outside.
said, you guys want a water break? Nope, we want to hit.
2 balls, no strikes. It's Walters, then Tyler Anderson, who's a story in his own right against Eichhoff. But you got to be careful here because you're up 3-0, and the pitcher is on deck with the runner at third. Well, that was the same pitch he threw on the first pitch. This time Walters offers at it, 2-1. No swings as Gary Cederstrom.
That check swing that happened reminded me of watching golf today. Olympic golf. Bubba Watson check swung a putt. He hit it a yard.
Oh, really?
He had about a 50-foot putt.
Can't keep it short, Mike.
And he took the putter back, and as he was coming into the ball, he stopped his putter, and the putt went about a yard. You won't see that very often. You'll probably see it in the next couple of days on a highlight somewhere.
Strikeout rate higher here at home. He's just looking for an out here with the count 3-2 and a runner at third. Just a bit low, ball 4. First walk issued by Eichhoff. Eichhoff slipped as he threw this pitch.
No, honestly, I think he had a perfect setup pitch right there. He threw a lot of off-speed pitches, changeup, curveball, slider, got to 3-2, and tried to throw a fastball. And I believe if it was up a little bit, he would have frozen because it looked like he was sitting off speed.
Well, here's Anderson. That 1 home run came against Eichhoff in Denver. Jared was kind of cruising against the Rockies that day, and he threw one down and in, and Anderson blasted it down the right field line.
Might have memories of it too, starting the pitcher off with a breaking ball, backdoor curveball.
1 ball and no strikes with runners on first and third. Walters with a very short lead over at first base.
And now a shorter lead.
I guess those throwovers come from the bench.
They do. Off the end of the bat, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Dahl back to third. And Walters back to first. Off the end of the bat toward right. Borges is there. Now the side is retired. No runs. One hit. 2 men left. 3 left through 2 for the Rockies. We'll move to the bottom of the second. 3-0 Phils on top. Randy Wolf is officially going to retire as a Philadelphia Phil. He threw out the first pitch tonight, and the famed Wolf Pack was behind him. And then another surprise. The guy trotting out to hand him the baseball was his brother Jim, who's a Major League umpire who had this weekend off. A very pleasant surprise for Randy Wolf, who was the first starter here at Citizens Bank Park. And that fan group, the Wolf Pack, was tremendous when we were at Veterans Stadium and even here at Citizens Bank Park. And Greg Murphy is with Wolfie right now.
I am indeed the newest Philly and the newest retired Philly. Randy Wolf is with us, who again signs today and retires as a Philadelphia Philly. We were just watching the video of you throwing the first pitch to your brother. Complete surprise for you.
Total surprise. I had no idea. I thought there was something going on with the first pitch and somebody who was going to catch me, and it was kind of hinted to me it might be a member of the Wolf Pack. So I saw the mask on. I'm like, okay, that's going to be a surprise. And then when my brother took off the mask, I was completely blown away. So yeah, it was a total surprise. I had no clue.
For fans at home that don't know, Jim Wolf is a Major League Baseball umpire. We see him all the time, and I was able to get off tonight to be with you on a very special night as you look around and you take in Alumni Weekend and you take in your official retirement for Major League Baseball. I would imagine it just brings back a whole lot of memories, including the very first guy to step up on the mound here at Citizens Bank Park yourself.
Yes, it was really cool making that first pitch. I'll always remember that game. One of those cold, wet games, but it was exciting. Everybody was excited about this park. It still is just a beautiful park. And it was just a great experience. And then this weekend's been awesome. To be here last night to honor Jim, who I think is the epitome of like the best teammate you could possibly imagine. And then being out here for Alumni Weekend, being on the line with such great players and such amazing alumni. And then to be honored to throw the first pitch and be able to retire as a Philly is something that is really special.
You played 16 years in the big leagues, 8 here in Philadelphia, and decided that you wanted to be a part of this organization for the future as part of that. Why did you decide that the Phillies pinstripes is where your heart really resides?
Well, I was talking to Greg Castriato, and the Phillies, it's almost kind of like a mafia thing. You may think you're out, but you're not out. And but you realize when you get older and you've been around, you've been with other teams, the special connection that the Phillies have with you, and it's a lot like family. I just remember after I played with the Phillies and I was with other teams, playing here as a visiting player, and David Montgomery would always take a trip to say hi. And that to me is something that is very special and is kind of how the Phillies are with their players. you look at the staff that works here, it's the same people that were here when I was a rookie, and they're still here. And I think that's a very cool connection that the staff and the fans have with the Phillies.
Tyler Goodell flies out to center field. Before I let you go, you take a look around, and I'm sure I certainly got a good ovation when the Wolfpack arrived out on the field, and then you got out there on the mound. Just the Phillies fans, your thoughts on playing in front of them one final time, getting a chance to throw one final pitch in front of them.
I mean, I had an amazing experience with the fans while I played here. I was extremely fortunate. I had, a group of guys who hung out in left field and cheered me on from my third start on, and were with me through thick and thin. And the fans in general, of course, if I deserved it, they'd get on me, but I understood that part of the game. But I think for the most part, the fans treated me incredibly well here, and I felt really lucky to have that kind of support while I was here.
Well, Randy, it's certainly good to see you back here at Citizens Bank Park. It was great to see the Wolfpack back here at Citizens Bank Park, and I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of you as the years go by.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
All right, guys, let's send it back to you in the booth.
All right, Murph, thank you. We appreciate that. Murph's going to be talking to some others as the night goes on. No balls at 2 strikes to Freddie Galvis with 1 man down here in the second inning. Fills up 3-0. Freddie goes after a high pitch, hits it down the right field line into foul territory.
That was a nice interview.
Yeah.
Randy really put it well about his reasons for wanting to come back and retire as a Philly. Truer words could not be said about the organization. I thought that was tremendous.
69 and 60 during his time with the Phillies through the first pitch ever in a regular season game. You remember that day? It was a soggy day here in Philadelphia. Off the end of the bat, foul, and it remains 0-2.
Freddie also, I thought, last night had a couple of really good at-bats. A lot of foul balls, extended at-bats a couple of times.
He worked the count.
Yeah.
Pops it up, foul territory. Paulson, the first baseman, is there. And there are 2 outs. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 supported devices. Real team highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. 2 outs. And here is Eickhoff. Not too shabby a hitter. 8 for 43 this year. Hitting a .186. He does have 5 runs batted in. Shockingly, though, he does not have a sacrifice bunt this year. Out of all the pitchers,
I think he's got a great stroke.
But he has 3 doubles.
just 3 doubles, no sacrifice bunts.
And a walk to boot.
He's definitely not too shabby.
Not too shabby. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Man looks like a hitter. You used the term last night, right? Hitterish.
Hitterish.
Up the first base line. And 1 unassisted. A 1-2-3 second inning for the Rockies. Phillies go down in order. We played 2. We'll head to the third. 3-0. Phillies on top. trivia question. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information. Please submit your answer on the subject line. All right, man, here we go. Which 3 Phillies have had single-season hitting streaks of 30 games or longer? 30 games or longer in their Phillies career. Answer will be revealed a little later on. Mike, can we check you off that list?
Yes. Yes.
Me too.
Matt, check you off that list.
Take me off.
All right, so we're down to what?
Is it 3 Phillies that went 0 for 30? I'm on that list.
Oh, yeah.
I went 0 for 28 once.
Did you really?
To start a season off.
Ooh, that's a good start.
After my first knock, I was sitting like, what, 0-10?
Nowhere to go but up, Michael. Nowhere to go but up. So 3 Phillies who have hitting streaks of 30 games or more in their careers. Jared Eickhoff made the final out in the second, so he is just now wrapping up his warm-up tosses. He will face the top of the order, Charlie Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, and Carlos Gonzalez for the Rockies. He has surrendered 3 hits so far. Well, make sure you tune in for TCN on Monday. They're going to talk about the Eagles' first preseason game. I'm sure talk about Carson Wentz and his fractured ribs. It'll be Monday morning starting at 6 over on TCN and streaming live on breakfastonbroad.com. So Eickhoff's ready to go. Phillies, by the way, commit to this ball game 9 games under 500. The Rockies are 4 under 500. The Rockies 9.5 games out in the West, 4.5 out in the wild card. The Phillies, everybody knows, 14.5 out in the East, but 7 out in the wild card. Blackmon struck out his first time up. Two. That brings us to our Geico quote of the day. Blackmon about last night's 3-home run game. Felt pretty good. I can imagine that's what it's like to be Nolan Arenado on a day-to-day basis. That's about as close as I can get. Arenado, I'm sure, appreciated that compliment. Swing and a miss. He strikes out for the second time. 2 outs, or 1 out, excuse me, and that brings LeMahieu to the plate.
Good off-speed pitch right here. Good location, little backdoor slider. Unless it was supposed to be a changeup and it cut a little bit. It was 80 miles an hour, but good location.
LeMahieu singled his first time up, broke his bat in that single. Get a couple of fastballs up a little bit for strikes. Don't necessarily want to live up in that area.
If you're throwing 97, you can get away with it. At 90-91, ouch.
Off the hands, that'll bloop into left center. So he has 2 bloop hits tonight.
One reason why he's hitting 329. He gets those kind of hits because he stays closed on the ball. He's not trying to pull it. He tries to force it into the center of the field. A lot of hits out there on that jam shot.
And now Carlos Gonzalez, who extended his hitting streak to 19.
You know, and that's probably another reason why you look at LeMahieu's power numbers, only 8 and 42, because on pitches like that, he's taking that kind of a hit ball more so than the long foul home run. You know, he's not going big at that kind of a pitch. He's trying to keep it in the center of the field.
Gonzalez tried to check, but he went around. I mentioned before that Gonzalez's 19-game hitting streak. We showed you the stats. It's currently the longest active streak in the majors. LeMahieu, who has stolen 9 bags this year, draws the throw.
Tom, with that question for the Stump the Fans.
Yes, Matt.
Did we happen to see any player that did it here today?
You did not see any player that was on that list here today.
Okay.
You got us grinding on this question over here.
That'll cut off about 1,000 people for you. No balls and 2 strikes to Carlos Gonzalez.
But we did see 2 guys yesterday, I believe. Now you got to think about that question.
I know where you're going. Up high, 1 and 2. You did see 2 of those guys yesterday. Yes. If you saw the other one, well, then you're pretty special. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Carlos Gonzalez. Another toss over to first. Inside, 2 and 2. On base and plus slugging, OPS leaders in the National League. Daniel Murphy, .999. Runner goes, pitch is swung on and missed. Throw to second base by Ruiz, and he is out. Carlos
continues throwing.
It's amazing how much improved his throws have been over the last month and a half or so. How many times have we have a strikeout throw at double play recently with Carlos Ruiz? Perfect mechanics.
This is just absolutely perfect. Throwing a strike. Very good tag. That's why we're heading to the top of the inning, bottom of the inning, up by 3.
ShopChooseNissan.com. Buy McDonald's. Mix and match any 2 for just $2.50 on McDonald's McPick 2 menu. And buy your local Ford stores. A lot of folks milling around out at Ashburn Alley. Near that wall of fame, which Jim Thome was added to last night. Here's Cesar Hernandez, who led off the first with a single, then scored on the 3-run home run by Franco. And he takes a strike after showing bunt. 0-1.
Nolan Arenado not impressed in the least by that fake bunt. Yeah, I know the feeling. Well, I used to dare him sometimes because just wanted to make that good play. It's not the right thing to do, but
back towards shortstop. Descalso is up with it. Rockies made 3 errors in last night's ballgame. That certainly hurt their cause.
having to watch Arenado on that play right there after we just talked about the bunt, but he does something that I like and I used to do all the time, and I don't see it very often, but he played in, and then as the pitcher was winding and getting ready to deliver, he backed up about 6 steps on a 1-1 count.
That's having some confidence in your hands right there and your reactions to move a bit, particularly backward. Borges takes low, 1-0. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the White Sox and the Marlins squaring off in Miami. Martin Prado, a 3-run home run, his 7th. That game is deadlocked at 4. Down it in 2-1.
The dreaded quick pitch.
Carlos and Bob McClure. Bob, get an idea, you think of Jared Eickhoff and how he looks so far?
Yeah, he's probably asking about his fastball. Maybe his fastball's up in the zone a little bit. Maybe where to pitch guys. Location-wise, where Gonzalez struck out. What's he going to have for a post-game meal?
3-1 to Borges. Bob and Pete have a lot on their plate when it comes to the rotation. Found out today that Zach Eflin, who's on the DL with the 2 bad knees, also has a fracture in his foot. Ball 4, Borges walks. Eflin is not pushing aside the thought of pitching again this year. Pete didn't seem as aggressive when it came to whether Eflin would pitch again this year. Just a shame, though. He's got the knee injury, the 2 knees that bother him, and then the fracture in his foot. Adam Morgan will start tomorrow in Zach's place. We could see Adam back up here. Rudder at first, 1 man down. Aaron Altair is the batter. And Altair fouls it off the first base bag out of play.
Oops.
Altair's timing's just a little off.
Yeah, it's a few times today, or tonight, excuse me, that the changeup's come in and he's been way out in front of it. Kind of seems like he's just gearing up. Oh. Trying to gear up for the fastball and not recognizing the pitch, and that comes back to where maybe you don't trust your hands enough. You're allowed, you can allow the ball to get back a little deeper and still react with your hands. I still want to see him get a hold of one.
Altair.
Yeah, because I think he might hit the B and bank up by Citizens Bank Park. Tall, has that leverage way up in left field, Tom.
Wow. One at 2. That'll be just above where we are on Tuesday.
That's right.
Oh, is that where you broadcast?
Yeah, we're going to be up at Harry the K's, Mike.
You don't need a glove unless Altair gets a hold of one.
If he hits it up toward the Citizen Bank Park side. Broken back ground ball. It remains 1-2.
I had an interesting discussion with Bobby Abreu. Day of Jim Thome's This Is Your Life luncheon. Bobby's a little lost right now. He's been retired, and he asked me all about how I treated retirement. When, of course, I kind of got into a discussion about his hitting style and how I think our guys. Oh, that's the one. That's the pitch that he swung at. He didn't want to swing at, Matt. That high and away fastball. Wow. I bet if he swings at that and misses it, he thinks he would swung at a ball.
Yeah. And this is the pitch that you want hitters to lay off of.
Oh yeah.
But in reality, if it got some of the plate, it actually was belt high. Anyway, Bobby was sharing with me his philosophy on hitting with 2 strikes and how he loved to hit with 2 strikes, had no fear of hitting with 2 strikes, which is what kind of set up that whole hitting style that Bobby Abreu used to have. Used to be accused of not being aggressive enough. He took a lot of 2-0 pitches, that, why don't you let it go, but he just loved to hit with 2 strikes, and he had this ability to put the ball like inside of a basketball, before he swung.
Ground ball softly to shortstop. Descalso is going to go across the diamond. And that'll wrap up the 3rd for the Phils. No runs, no hits, 1 man left, 3 in the books. The Phils enjoying a 3-0 lead as we go to the 4th. Long-lasting power of Duracell batteries delivered right to your desktop the same day when you order by 11:30. By who? Who but WB Mason. Jim Thome, Ed Wade chatting here at Citizens Bank Park. Ed was instrumental in bringing Jim to Philadelphia. He was the general manager when Jim came in, but he was also the GM when some of the core group came through.
Yeah, definitely. So just to pick up on that point before we went to break, the reason that discussion came about was Thome was there. And, at some point we were talking about Thome, and we got to talk about strikeouts and where we stand on the all-time strikeout list, because Jim and I were kidding each other at the function in front of the crowd. And he's second
in strikeouts
all time.
Yeah. Well,
Did you know that?
I had no idea.
He hit over 600 home runs, though. It's like Jamie being the leader of giving up home runs.
Jim is second all time. Reggie Jackson's first. I did not know that.
I didn't realize Reggie was first.
And I'm 10th.
Oh, you made the top 10. Congratulations. Arenado leads it off, and he hits it toward right field. It's not deep. Playable for Borges. And Borges makes the catch. So your thought was, and I don't want to speak for you, but Bobby had such a good 2-strike approach that he could help somebody in the game. as far as.
But you won't believe this. He went down 100 times a year. Bobby Abreu.
Well, but he also walked a ton of times, too.
Oh, I
right?
know. I mean, in tremendous on-base percentage and all that. But that's where that discussion with Bobby came about. We were talking about strikeouts and hitting with confidence with 2 strikes, and what a knack it is for a young hitter. That what an advantage it is if a young hitter can establish a way to approach 2-strike hitting and be confident with 2 strikes.
I think that's the key word, though.
It's a lost art.
Well, and the confident part of it, that's a key word. Dahl doubled his first time. It's this one to left center field. Aaron Altair has plenty of room. 2 outs. Well, speaking of Alumni Weekend and the Wall of Fame, Greg Murphy's out at the Toyota Wall of Fame.
Well, let me ask you guys a question, Tom. Do you want to win a car? Would you like to win a car?
I would love a car.
You would love a car. Well, I have a contest for you that involves the Toyota Wall of Fame. And why not, as we celebrate this weekend, you take a look around, you see all these folks taking pictures of the Wall of Fame. Well, I'm about to tell them that if you get your picture taken in front of the Wall of Fame and you use the hashtag Toyota Ultimate Phillies Fan, all one word, the hashtag Toyota Ultimate Phillies Fan, and you post that on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, you're going to be entered automatically into a contest to win a car. Now, they're going to pick a monthly winner. We already have 3 so far as the season goes along. 2 more monthly winners will be picked. And then on October 2nd, Fan Appreciation Day, if you're one of those monthly winners, you'll get invited back. You'll get a key. You'll get a chance to put it in a car and
like
see if it starts. A Toyota Corolla, a brand new Toyota Corolla, all for just taking your picture in front of the Toyota Wall of Fame. It doesn't get any easier than that. Take a look around. Everyone's doing it anyway.
So how many selfies? How many selfies have you taken so far?
I've taken a couple selfies out here. Hopefully someone wins a car. So it's simple. It's easy. If you're coming out to the ballpark, might as well do it. Toyota Ultimate Phillies Fan. That hashtag, social media, get it done. You could win a car on October 2nd, guys.
All right, Murph, we appreciate that. Speaking of easy, Jared Eichhoff had an easy 7-pitch inning. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th here in Philadelphia. You buy Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com to find your RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places. Let's go Phils. Toyota sponsoring this alumni weekend here at Citizens Bank Park. Our thanks to the good folks at Toyota for all the work they do, being part of the Phillies family. Maikel Franco is going to lead things off. As you saw in the backdrop, they were showing his home run, his first time up. That home run gave the Phillies a home run in 8 consecutive games, which ties their season high. And the first pitch to Franco, and he's hit by that pitch. Maikel not too pleased by that, and Anderson is chirping as well. Eric Cooper, did he throw him out of the ballgame, man?
Yeah, he did.
Wow. Walt Weiss is coming out. He's not going to be pleased by that. And now Maikel Franco is being pushed away by Adrian Johnson.
And Arenado is saying some things to the Phillies dugout. Anderson is now chatting with Franco. Gary Cederstrom is in the middle of them.
Looks like Anderson's explaining that he didn't do it on purpose.
Well, either way, he may have been thrown out of this ball game, which is amazing that Eric Cooper would do it that quickly, the home plate umpire. The bullpens stream out. All right, so watch it above and watch the umpire. And Eric Cooper masks off, throws him out of the game. Wow.
I think it's because there was chirping going on from Anderson to the Phillies bench.
Right, and it happened almost immediately after Franco was hit by the pitch.
Right. You can see him start gesturing towards the bench.
So somebody must have said something to him for the Phillies bench, which sort of fired him up a little bit. Honestly, I still think it's a quick trigger, Matt, from Eric Cooper. I don't know what you guys think.
I was trying to daydream and watching all this, trying to take it all in. Oh yeah, quick trigger, absolutely. I'm not saying that he wasn't trying to pitch hard in off the plate. Maybe he didn't like maybe something Franco did on the home run trot. You know, maybe I'm not sure about that. I know he did a little jumping around at home plate when he came across home plate.
Yeah, which he does all the time.
Yeah, and I did see the catcher move way up under him, Matt.
Right, but I'm going to disagree though, because I'm going to say a guy hits a 3-run home run straightaway center field, and then all of a sudden, does he do it on purpose or not? Maybe not, but he hits him. I don't think it's a quick trigger, because the guy hits a 3-run home run. He does that hop every time.
Every time.
You know, he does it every time. He does that hop. I mean, that's not something that is going to trigger a pitcher to hit somebody.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that would offend somebody.
No, absolutely. Nowadays, the way guys hit home runs and toss their bat or stay there and watch watch what's happening. I think what the reaction was is that the chirping going on from the bench, and he gestured towards the bench.
Right.
Well, there's one good way to get rid of it. That's by kicking him out of the game.
Right. So
if he didn't hit a home run, he wouldn't have been kicked out of the game. I can tell you that.
Eric Cooper, watch what he says. Nah, first pitch. So his thought is that there was intent there on the first pitch to hit Franco. They asked for a lefty to come out of the bullpen, the Rockies bullpen. So Anderson is out. He's not happy about it. Eric Cooper, he just felt like Anderson was instigating. So he has been ejected from the game.
Don't forget to where an umpire's vision and viewpoint is. He's sitting behind home plate. He feels the catcher move way to his left, up underneath the hitter, close to his leg.
And he knows how long that home run was in the first inning.
And he has seen his first, I don't know, 40 or 50 pitches, however many he's got, and he's seen very good control, nothing really wild, no reason to think that he doesn't know where the ball's gone, and all of a sudden, whoo, right in the knee.
I agree.
Well, and he's a veteran umpire.
So the umpire's first reaction is, oh yeah, I know, he moved up under him, he hit him, and he goes, throws him out of the game. Now, obviously, we can't tell what was verbalized right after this from up here, but that ball's way in there. I mean, I'm just glad it was in at his legs and not up in his head.
Well, that's true too. And how about Walters coming out almost immediately before Franco even said anything? Walters curled around the catcher. So Walt Weiss is waiting to bring the left-hander, and he's still having a few words with Eric Cooper, the home plate umpire. So Russin will be the new pitcher for the Rockies. We've got a pitching change. An early exit for the Rockies lefty, Tyler Anderson.
Louis Dodgers will be here for 3 games, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. All 3 games are at 7:05. Don't forget Thursday after the ballgame, post-game concert with country music star Chase Rice. And a reminder, because there have been inquiries about this, your game ticket is your concert ticket. You only have to buy one. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. So here's the pitch in on the legs of Maikel Franco. Take a look from above how far inside. Now, Franco never said anything. He did stare, but watch how far inside this pitch is.
Hits the front leg. I mean, seriously.
That shot there really does show how far
And that's why I say, you know, he's out there saying that he didn't do it on purpose. He's trying to explain his point, trying to throw a fastball inside. But the bottom line is that he hit a 3-run home run this first at bat. He gets drilled with a pitch that far inside. You go behind home plate as an umpire, and what are you going to think? Mike just made a great point about the 57 pitches he's been around the plate. Very, very good. Now all of a sudden what happens? He throws a pitch that's what? Tom, you'd say what? 2.5 feet inside? Easily?
Easily, but about 3, I would say.
You know, so the proper thing was done. And I think the gesture towards the dugout
is what did it. Well, he didn't throw him out until he did gesture toward the dugout.
Right.
It's funny, Eric Cooper keeps walking away from Walt Weiss because Walt keeps getting an ear of Eric Cooper. So now he's coming back toward Cooper again, and he's been thrown out of the ball game. So after all that, and he gave him a long leash.
Yeah, they've had plenty of time to discuss this.
Plenty of time to discuss it.
Well, there's been discussing going on. It was just that they weren't face to face, and
right.
He was, you know, saying a few things to Coop, and Coop was just kind of ignoring it. He probably said that's enough. Let it go. It's over with.
Yeah, I mean, unless he feels like he's kind of protecting his pitcher, or, you know, another way to look at this is the difference in the game today than when I played. Not so much, Matt, when you played, but what would transpire now if the game, if in the old days after this, you know, there would be no warning, there would be no one kicked out, it would just be hit by pitch. Then the other team would come out here and drill the first hitter. Right. And
it'd be done.
And it'd be over with.
Right.
But they've eliminated that phase of it. You know, the retaliation phase is gone.
Well, Tom Reynolds will take over now. He's the bench coach of the Colorado Rockies, former Major League manager with the Montreal Expos, longtime minor league manager.
But, you know, on the other hand, where does that leave our club at that point? I mean, they have drilled our cleanup hitter, tonight our 5-hole hitter, and it was in the leg, granted. Now, what if it had been, you know, in the neck or, in you know, in a vulnerable part of the body or something, and you'd feel like, well, what about us now?
Right. Yeah, retribution probably wouldn't be until tomorrow at some point. Here's Carlos Ruiz. Carlos flied out to center his first time up. It's 1 ball and no strikes. So Anderson goes 3+. He allows 2 hits, responsible for the runner at first. Walk 2, of course, hit 1. Inside, 2-0. Outside, 3-0.
I like his approach with Chooch. Boy, he's definitely quiet.
Very quiet. He says he just feels so relaxed and that his bat speed it picks up.
Inside, ball 4. So the Phils have 2 runners on now with nobody out. This has changed the entire complexion of this ball game, with Russin coming in. And a kid who had been pitching very good baseball since he was brought up from the minor leagues. Here's Tyler Goodell, who flied out to center field. Goodell is 0 for 1. Goodell's average at 198. That's 5 straight out of the strike zone by Russell.
Boy, now's when you, I know a lot of people are thinking, well, he's throwing 5 straight balls. Maybe you better take a pitch. I say the heck with that, baby.
I agree. I was just thinking that.
Here's coming your knee-high batting practice fastball right here.
Missed outside, 2-0.
And if it's not, you take it. Now it's coming.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's a great point. When you, 6 in a row, 5 in a row, excuse me. Oh, I got to make him throw a strike. No chance. Because when he eventually throws one down the middle, it's going to be grooved. But don't be surprised if maybe he might throw an off-speed pitch here.
Well, he does. And it's 2-1.
Yeah, you spit on that one. What we say, spit on that breaking ball, especially with two ball count.
Three and 1.
Tell you, it's no outs right now, but this guy is primed to run on.
Primed to run on, but the problem is Franco at second and Chooch at first.
But I mean, if you just time him up sitting up here watching it, he's very slow to the plate.
3-1 pitch is popped up into shallow right. Gonzalez comes in. He's under it. Ready makes the catch for out number 1. And Freddie Galvis is next up. Freddie popped out his first time up after a few pitches. This puts somewhat of a burden on the Rockies bullpen. You always want to get into the bullpen early. Today they're into the bullpen early thanks to the help of the umpire. John Gray, who started yesterday, is the guy to the right there. Freddie Galvis 0 for 1. And it's no balls and 1 strike to Galvis. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Washington leads Atlanta 4-1. Top of the 5th inning. Daniel Murphy, a 2-run home run, his 22nd of the year. And a line drive, base hit it to left center field. That'll score Franco. Ruiz on his way to third. The throw goes to second, and Galvis will retreat back to first. RBI single, 4-0. Phillies on top.
Well, Freddie picked up his teammate right there. Tyler wanted to keep that ball on the line and move those runners, and didn't get that job done, but Freddie came through and picked him up with a nice line drive by the shortstop. Man in scoring position. Boom. Saw the ball hit the bat, kept it in the middle of the field.
And good base running too by Franco, reading that it was to his left.
So he was going to third anyway.
Right, but better job of Chooch going first to third.
So the line is complete on Anderson. 4 runs, all 4 earned, 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 hit batter. And Eichhoff takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes. Eichhoff hit one back toward Anderson his first time up. Four nothing Phillies here in the 4th inning. Fly ball to right field. It's not deep.
We got to
Ruiz
play at the
tagging.
plate, folks.
Yep. Carlos Gonzalez is under it. Ruiz draws the throw. Galvis goes to second.
That's one of the best throws I've seen in a while from an outfielder. I think Chooch made the right decision there, bluffing.
He did, but I also like Freddie Galvis going ahead to go to second base, saying go ahead and cut this ball.
Right.
And all getting a rundown. Problem is that he overthrew the cutoff man, and it was a great throw. Notice how he was just peeking out of his corner of his eye to see if Chooch was going to run.
Well, you know, even if Chooch does go and Freddie ends up 1 second, you got the man in scoring position. I believe it'd have been close. He probably would have been out, but if the throw was offline a little bit, he'd have been safe.
Cesar takes inside. 1 ball, no strikes.
You're actually right where you'd be right now if he'd have bunted him over.
Cesar does have a hit. And he's also grounded out to short. 1 ball, 1 strike. Over to third, Arenado. Ooh, hit the lip of the grass. He still is able to field it, and he throws out Hernandez. 5-3 on the putout. Phil settle for 1. They leave a couple here in the 4th. We'll move to the top of the 5th inning here in Philadelphia. Phil's on top 4-0. Here in the top of the 5th inning, 4 runs on 3 hits. The big blow, a 3-run home run by Maikel Franco. Earlier tonight, Larry Bowa was presented with the John Vukovich Award, and I don't know if there's anybody better to get that award. There's Vuk's son Vince. I mean, to get that award, they were such good friends, the two of them, and it's because of all the work that Larry has done within the Phillies organization. Just an incredible, incredible honor for Larry Bowa to receive the award that's named for his dear friend, who, as we always say, passed away way too soon in 2007. Fly ball to right field. So Eickhoff gets an out very quickly here in the 5th inning. Vince presented it along with Vuk's daughter Nikki down on the field. Great to see her. Vuk was one of a kind.
Couldn't have gone to a more deserving guy, and couldn't have gone to a guy that probably would appreciate it more than just about anybody, based upon their history and their friendship.
Tony Walters, who walked his first time up, will be the hitter. Pitches inside, 1 ball and no strikes. Vuk spent 30 of his 41 years in the Phillies organization, 17 on the coaching staff, the longest tenured coach in team history. Walters takes a strike. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Previous winners of that honor included Greg Legg, Bill Dancy, longtime coach in the Phillies organization and manager. Walters hits it softly out towards second and off the glove of Cesar Hernandez, who got turned all the way around.
I think that ball might have knuckled a little bit, kind of changed direction on him. He definitely turned the wrong way and initially never recovered visually to make the catch.
Walters will get a base hit for that.
That's a drill the outfielders do a lot.
Yeah, I think Cesar probably thinks he should have caught that ball.
No, he should have.
Yeah.
Rusin squares and he bunts it back toward the mound. Eickhoff off the hill, fires to second for 1. They get the lead runner. Now there are 2 outs. By the way, as he fired that ball out to Freddie Galvis covering at second base, there is an awful lot of lightning flashing over the left field scoreboard.
There is a ton of lightning, and there was a good play and a bad play. The good play was no hesitation throwing to second base. The bad play is the runner going head first into second base. Aren't you supposed to go in feet first and try to break up the play?
You are supposed to, within the rules, go feet first.
I mean, this is a tremendous feed right here, but watch him head first.
That is strange.
Unless he figured it was quicker to go head first to maybe beat the throw.
That's about the only thing I could think of.
Blackman takes just a bit outside.
But I do know Eickhoff fielded that ball like a former infielder, which he is.
Mm-hmm.
That was a nice play by that pitcher.
Line drive, base hit it to right field for Blackman. Rusin around second, and he holds up there. So Blackman, after striking out the first 2 times, gets a base hit to extend his hitting streak to 8. Phillies family packs are available for select weekend games, including next weekend. 4 tickets, 4 Hatfield hot dogs, and 4 Coca-Colas for $100. For more information and to order, visit the ticket section at Phillies.com. Runners on first and second. DJ LeMahieu has 2 hits tonight.
Boom, cross up. Cross up, but a strike.
Eickhoff comes down.
Well, Schutz is calling off-speed pitch right here. Aye, handcuff.
Well, it was called a ball by the umpire, but you're saying that it should have been a strike.
Yeah, it should have been. It was actually a pretty good pitch to hit.
what does that tell you about an umpire needing the catcher to make a clean catch of the ball?
Yeah, he saw he was crossed up and went down.
They get blocked. It's funny, Seastrom, Seastrom's the crew chief, but Coop's been around a long time as well.
Yeah, he's probably next in line, particularly from this umpiring crew.
I want to say he broke in when I did.
I would. It was in the same area
same,
because he was in the minor leagues when I was in Double-A, and that was in the 90s. Along with the skipper of the Colorado Rockies, Tom Runnels, back in 1994, was the first manager that I worked under. 3-0 pitch to LeMahieu, 3-1.
I believe he was one of my managers in the Expos organization.
Here's seconds ago. Look at the lightning flashing up above.
What they call that, heat lightning?
That could be heat lightning, Mike.
It's not cold lightning.
Now I don't know if there is such a thing as heat lightning, but I've heard that the description of lightning before, and it darn sure is hot.
All 4. That loads the bases up. So a little bit of a danger zone here for Eickhoff with the Phillies up 4-0 and Carlos Gonzalez coming up. And the bases loaded.
Yes, it is. This is a teaching at bat for Mr. Eickhoff here. He's got a chance to pitch to one of the best hitters in the league with the bases loaded. 71 pitches into the game. This is a big out for him.
Popped him up. Left side of the infield. Franco is under it. And the Rockies leave him loaded here in the 5th inning. No runs. Couple of hits. 3 men left. On to the bottom of the 5th inning. Wipe your brow, Jared. Time now for our Citizens Bank minor league report. And today at Lakeland, Clearwater with a 5-2 win over the Flying Tigers. Josh Tobias 2 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Kyle Martin hit his 15th home run, a 3-run shot. Garcia 6 innings, 5 hits, 5 strikeouts. Clearwater now 17-10. Martin's got big time power. Selected last year in the draft out of South Carolina. Altoona defeated Reading 4-2. Scott Kingery had a 2-run single for the Reading Titans. And Lehigh Valley's in a rain delay. Indianapolis leads Lehigh Valley 2-1. Nick Pavetta's pitched well tonight, just up to AAA. Bottom of the 5th inning. Peter Borges is set to lead it off. It'll be Borges, Aaron Altair, and Tommy Joseph. That's the changing of the guard of the Wolfpack right there. You're on TV. Hold up the sign. Hold it up. Russin just finished up his warm-up tosses. So Borges will face him for the first time. Borges is 0 for 1 with a walk. Borges now 5 for 18 against the Rockies this year. He just took a peek up at Paulson, the first baseman, who's back behind the bag. Outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Nice to see Peters back after that shoulder injury down in Miami when he ran into the wall catching that Ichiro fly ball. And he was right. You know, he thought that he would be okay to play before the 15-day DL, and he would have been. Right. But it still would have taken 6 or 7 days for him to get healthy. So that's why they put him on the disabled list.
Well, and it's easier in the American League to play down a player for a week than it is in the National League because of the double switches and defensive reasons.
Ground ball to short. To his left is Descalso. Throw is high, but handled by Paulson. 1 out. And Aaron Altair is coming up. Altair's 0 for 2, but those 2 at-bats came against Tyler Anderson, the starter for the Rockies, who was ejected after hitting Maikel Franco earlier in this game. Actually, in the 4th inning. Tom Runnels has the lineup card. Walt Weiss was ejected after a brief discussion with Eric Cooper. Cooper kept walking away, and Walt kept following him.
I think that's the first ejection I've seen this year.
I was trying to think about that myself, how many we've seen. We haven't seen many.
Boa once, right?
Yep. Recently. Pete was talking the other day about, arguments. He goes, no, I really haven't argued this year. I said, well, you can't. There's
instant replay.
Instant replay. He goes, but yeah, not even balls and strikes. He said, I haven't even found myself arguing. I said, well, Bo takes care of that. Altair walks. And Tommy Joseph is coming up. Tommy's walked turned out to be a big walk because then it brought Franco up for the 3-run home run. He's also grounded out to shortstop. Altair is picked if he can beat the throw, and he does because it was high. Now he's going to try to go to third, and he thinks better of it.
I think he'd have made that. I think he'd have made that with 1 out. I'll tell you, it looked like Sammy must have held him up. I know he looked at him and sent him back, but I'll tell you what, he'd have made that. Watch this. Boom, dives, get up, go.
No, he
has a long way to go for that ball.
Yeah. But he did the right thing, though. He got picked off. He never stopped. He went into second base and made the first baseman has to throw the ball right on the money.
No balls and 1 strike to Tommy Joseph.
That's the first time I've ever seen you react like that.
I thought it was a good pitch to hit. Not that I would have hit it, but an RBI spot, I thought it was a good pitch to hit for Tommy.
Really good call.
Tommy's numbers with runners in scoring position. Off speed pitch, and it's 0-2. Tapper right at home plate. And it remains 2 strikes to Tommy.
Tommy's actually had a pretty good stint of 220 at-bats this year. I would have never dreamed he had that many at-bats. 5 hits.
You look at his numbers across the board. For 220 at-bats, I'd take that any day.
Yeah, because you would think, I mean, he is still a rookie, that, you know, they're figuring him out, and then he has to have time to figure them out after the adjustments. If you push that across the full season.
Well, I mean, you bring up a rookie who's got 15 home runs and 220 at-bats. He's averaging a home run every 14.6 at-bats. I'd take that any day.
In the dirt, blocked by Walters.
Again, I always talk about I like to see how pitchers and how hitters make the adjustment second time through when you're facing a team and a third time. And compared to when you play the National League East, you're going to see guys 17 or 16 times. That's where I like watching the young players, how they make the adjustments.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, most of the pitchers he's seeing for the first time. Unless he saw him in the minor leagues or college or something like that. But pitcher definitely advantage in those situations.
Bit inside with that fastball, 2-2.
I believe we got a call right there.
That was way inside.
Yeah. Rustin now at 29 pitches in relief of Anderson. Swing and a miss. And he gets Joseph to strike out. And now there are 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Aaron Altair has made an impact on the team since his return from injury. He talks about trying to make his mark in the Phil's suddenly crowded outfield. Watch an Aldo Phillies Clubhouse Monday at 6:30 right here on CSN. Well, he certainly has made an impact. It is a crowded outfield, but I'm not sure if it affects him as much as it might affect some of the other guys, because they want to see him for the rest of the year, and that means playing every day. Franco has scored a couple runs. He's driven in 3 on the home run. And he takes inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
I think it's safe to say they do not want Maikel Franco to get his arms extended.
Well, they don't want to fall behind anymore. They're down 4. Two balls, no strikes to Franco. He whacked it foul, and it's 2-1. Here's what he did in the 1st inning. His 3-run home run really jump-started this ball club.
Beautiful swing. Better yet, home run to center field. I mean, when he figures it out that he doesn't have to pull a ball for a home run, it's going to be very impressive to watch him hit, and it's going to be very tough for pitchers to realize, how are we going to get him out? He's fast enough, inside pitches.
Broken bat looper out towards center. Picked up by Descalso.
Except for that one.
6-3 on the putout. Phillies leave 1 in scoring position. We played 5. We'll head to the 6th here in Philadelphia. Phil's on top, 4-0.
Independence Blue Cross Philly of the Week arrived in Philadelphia in 2003 and realized Philadelphia was a perfect fit. 101 home runs and countless moments later, Jim Thome and his family became permanent members of the Phillies family. 13 years later, Jim becomes a permanent member of Phillies history. His contagious smile and gentleman-like personality has won over so many in the game of baseball. The big man's return was a special one. He's the newest member of the Wall of Fame. And it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, you get put on the Wall of Fame. What do you do the next night? You're shooting off hot dogs. The Hatfield hot dogs going flying into the stands with the help of the Fanatic. We're going to give you an up-close shot of Jim in action. Look at the smile on his face. Our camera operator, Matt Walp, is down with Jim as he's rolling along. The Fanatic directing traffic, saying which way to go. We had Jim on for a full inning last night. And, Mike, I know you know this. And, of course, Matt does, too. He is one of those special guys in baseball. I mean, just his energy level from the time he was a player even to now, it's up all the time.
Yeah, he sure is. He's I keep saying he's like John Wayne.
Yeah.
The John Wayne of baseball. He's I don't know. You just want your kids to grow up and be like him. There's just something about him. He's such a nice man, and he was such a tremendous competitor when he played, and to have reinvented himself early on in his career through Charlie Manuel's tutelage, and to end up with 612 home runs. He needs one more RBI, though. You know, he's got 1,699 RBIs.
That is remarkable to finish one shy of 1,700. 2-1 pitch to Arenado. Over to third. Maikel Franco backs up on it and zips it across the diamond in time for the first out. And one away. I know we talk to you about this all the time, but what is it like when you see your former teammates and some of the other Phil's alums each and every year on this weekend?
It's a blast. A lot of hugs. You know, I have special friendships with many of those guys. And the only thing bad about it is it seems to come too fast every year. You know, the years go by, and here we are again at Alumni Weekend. You know, I don't have that much in common with a lot of younger guys. Spent some time with Pat Burrell in spring training. Mike Lieberthal, we had a ton of discussions about hitting, he and I. mean, those kind of guys are a lot of fun as well. But I think, you know, reconnecting with the Bob Boones and the Gary Maddoxes and the Greg Luzinskis. I see Larry all the time, of course, but it's very special.
Well, on the field earlier, there's Matt heading out, representing the 2008 World Championship. And, of course, Michael coming out with the 1980 World Champion Phils and the Wall of Fame members. In fact, you came out with the Wall of Fame members, and you had some of your teammates who were also along the line. A lot of your teammates on the Phillies Wall of Fame. It's kind of like what the 2008 team will be like eventually, being on the Wall of Fame, all of them. 1-1 pitch, whacked down the right field line. That'll be in for an extra base hit for Dahl. And Dahl's going to get his second double of the night. And a one-out double brings Descalso to the plate.
Well struck, squared up line drive over the first baseman's head for a double. Back-to-back doubles. Left center the last time up. He's had a pretty good start to his major league career.
I asked some of the Rockies people what they thought if they thought he'd be up at some point this year. They said, well, the hope was that he would be up, but he started in Double-A because he's been, you know, he's had some injuries. He had a lacerated spleen at one point, which they thought was going to cost him his career. It happened in Double-A. He collided with the second baseman on his ball club, and they thought that was going to cost him. Just physically, he couldn't get back to where he needed to be. But he credits, as we mentioned last night, the fact that he spent the whole offseason in Scottsdale with Trevor Story. They worked out together. They hit together. They lived together in spring training. Descalso takes strike two. It's 0-2.
Tell you, this Rocky team got some quality pitching. They'd be something to be reckoned with. They have got some hitters.
But they've always had quality hitters. you know, through their whole franchise history of whoever, Larry Walker or the Big Cat or Ellis Burks or EY, or and they have had, you know, Helton. They just every year they have 2 or 3 guys who are just game changers. Dante Pichette,
Vinny Castilla.
Was Galarraga in that?
Yep, Big
Cat.
Cat.
Oh, Big Cat.
El Gato Grande.
Tom, that was good.
Thank you.
That was very good.
Used to like saying that in El Caballo.
El Caballo.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Descalso. Up high, 3-2. Tonight's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box.
Right on cue.
Yeah. Dahl takes his lead off second. That ball is crushed deep to right field. Borges going back, and it is gone. And this is a 4-2 ball game here in the 6th inning. Daniel Descalso, his 2-run home run, is 3rd of the year. Well, there have been many a game this year where Jared Eickhoff has pitched well and has been the victim of one bad inning. In fact, it was the 6th inning in Colorado that hurt him against the Rockies last time.
Yeah, and this comes off a pitch after getting the hitter 0-2. Battling back to 3-2. Nice easy swing. Look at the contact. Head down. Good balance.
Knew it was going when he hit it.
360 feet is the estimated distance. Paulson waves at a curveball, and it's 0-1. All right, now you got to get these next 2 outs and not let them think that they really are back in this game. Phillies starters, because of some big innings, they were averaging close to 6 innings per outing for the first couple months of the season. But recently, since the All-Star break, they're averaging about 5 1/3 per outing. Got it in on him. Shallow right field. Two outs. Time now for the Jeep Stuff the Fans Trivia Quiz answer. All right, guys, here we go. Which 3 Phillies have had single-season hitting streaks of 30 games or longer?
I'm going to let Matt handle this one. I was stumped by it.
2 guys we know is Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley. But
Jimmy Rollins, 36 in 2005. Chase Utley, 35 in 2006.
The third guy's probably back in like 1900s.
Actually, yeah, it was in 1899.
Oh, Paul, Pete, Ed.
Ed is right.
Ed?
That is correct. You'll get half a point for Ed Delahanty.
Oh, Delahanty.
Yeah. Were you just going to go down all the common names from back then? He hit it 31 straight back in 1899.
He's going to start going down like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Yeah. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thank you for playing Jeep Stump the Fans. Ed Delahanty had a lifetime batting average back in the day of .346. That ball's hit well out toward right field, and it is gone. Second home run of the inning for the Rockies. It's now a 4-3 ball game. Well, first it was Descalso who hit a 2-run shot, and now it's Walters who hits a solo shot.
Well, it's a hot night out there. You know, not only are you sweating like crazy and your uniform seems to weigh 20 pounds, gets your concentration a little bit, I think. You know, you start to get worn out both mentally as well as physically. Not to make excuses, but it is 100 degrees on that field down there right now.
I think we saw that last night with the Rocky starter, John Gray. he was well over 100 pitches by the time Ryan Howard hit the grand slam. Luis Garcia starts to warm up. So Bob McClure comes out just to give Eickhoff a beat. And Russin will bat here.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier. The game in Colorado in the 6th inning, he gave up 6 in that. Well, he didn't give up all 6, but that 3rd time through the order, they were getting pitches to hit. They weren't missing it.
Way inside, 1-0. By the way, guys, I don't know if you remember this or not, but your longest hitting streaks, Matt, yours was
12.
Figured you'd remember that. May of '98. Mike, yours longest hitting streak was 17 games. 79.
Was it 12?
It was 12. Yeah. One ball and 1 strike to Russin. At a 4-3 game. Rockies now up 9 hits against Eickhoff. Out to right center field. Borges on the run. The dead run toward the fence. It is a 1-hop off the top of the fence. And Russin's thinking 3. Hernandez's throw to 3rd is not in time. Now Franco thinks he popped up, but how about Russin with a triple with 2 men down to the 398 side in center field.
Took a pretty good hack at the pitch before that. Oh, wow, I mean, maybe this kid can hit. He's one of those left-handers, Matt. They can do a little bit of everything.
Well, it's his 2nd career triple. Watch the play at 3rd. Did he pop off the bag as the tag was on?
Nope.
It's hard to tell whether his foot stayed off the bag, stayed on the bag or not. See, his hand's still there. His foot is on, and now he's tagged. I think he's still on.
I would agree.
Still on, still on. Fingertips are on. Yep. Foot is on.
Fingernails, long glove. I concur. He's safe.
Pete Macadam is going out, and that's going to be it for Jerad Eickhoff. He'll exit with 94 pitches. The tying run is at 3rd. And Luis Garcia is coming in to try to get the last out here in the 6th inning. 3 runs have scored for the Rockies. We'll be back with Luis Garcia's numbers right after this. The back end of this homestand will feature 3 games against the St. Louis Cardinals. Friday, August 19th is Goya Latino Family Night. Next Saturday, all fans receive the Harry Callis replica statue from Citizens Bank Park, presented by Toyota. Get your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. Sunday, the 21st, ShopRite back to school set, free to fans 14 and under. Here's Charlie Blackmon with Russin over at 3rd and 2 men down. And Blackman takes a slider inside. 1 ball, no strikes. Garcia's numbers: a 7.56 ERA. Rushton, by the way, his other triple was his first major league hit back in 2012. It was in his first at bat during his debut. Broken bat liner. 1 ball, 1 strike. He came into this game hitting 163 with that triple, also a home run.
Don't you just hate that cutter, right-handed, left-handed hitter? Used to hate it with left-handers. Had a comment. Never forget Dave Dravecky. Can't see any spin. You start to swing at that fastball and it cuts right into your bat.
I always thought a pitcher with a good fastball, with good location, and with a good cutter, that's all the 2 pitches he needs to face me. Because you had to pick left side or right side of the plate.
.98 on that fastball. It runs inside. 2-1. Phillies have led for this entire game after scoring 3 in the first. And Blackman is hit by a pitch. That'll put runners on first and third. Eric Cooper does not think there's intent involved there. And DJ LeMahieu will now bat with runners on first and third.
This is supposed to be a fastball away.
Jeez.
Wow.
I missed the target.
Sure did miss the
Just
target.
a bit inside. You say it was supposed to be away?
It's supposed to be away.
Way away.
Chooch gave the fastball away sign.
So now LeMahieu's been on base 3 times, 2 singles and a walk. Starts him off just as he did with Blackman with the first pitch breaking ball. It's 0-1. If he can ever harness it, 97, 98 with that fastball. Runner goes, pitches inside, throw to second base is not in time. Stolen base for Blackman. That's his 15th of the year. So 3 balls and 1 strike to a very dangerous hitter, one of the top hitters in the National League.
And a very dangerous one on deck who hit with the bases loaded last time. We got him out on a pop up to the infield.
Carlos Gonzalez on deck. Chopper out towards shortstop. Galvis backs up on it, throws across the diamond, and Garcia is able to get out of it. And the Phils will maintain a lead here in the 6th. Rockies do score 3. They leave 2. Onto the bottom of the 6th. It's the Phillies 4, Rockies 3.
Your Delaware Valley Honda dealers. Hurry to your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. By Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy rights. Bottom of the 6th inning. Phillies lead is at 1. It's 4-3. Earlier on the field, the National League Fireman of the Year in 1983. Al Holland was introduced to the crowd. Man, he was a tough guy out on the mounds. Left-handed reliever, also signing some autographs for some of the Phillies fans. And after doing all that, he gets a chance to sit down and talk to Murph. Murph, take it away.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm the man they called Mr. T. And we were just talking. I said I was a 12-year-old kid in 1983 watching that World Series. And it was a lot of fun to watch this man throw really hard back in the 80s. First of all, welcome back to Philadelphia. It's good to see you.
Oh, Greg, it's always a pleasure to come back to Philadelphia.
Talk a little bit about that special 83 season and then 84 season where you followed up with 29 saves and an all-star appearance. You had a pretty good 2 solid seasons here in Philadelphia.
Yeah, I was proud of those years. The one thing was that Philadelphia, the Phillies brought me here to be their closer. Tug was getting up in age, and I think they realized he was, kind of near the end of his career. So they had to bring somebody in to kind of take over the mantle, and I was the guy. And I was thrilled. I was very happy to be traded to Philadelphia, because when I was with the Pirates in '77, I played against these guys. My boy and Schmidt and Luzinski and Gary Maddox. I played against those guys, so they were the cream of the crop then. So for me to come back and play with them in the 80s, it was phenomenal.
When you stop, and so many fans watching at home will remember just how hard you threw the baseball. Now, nowadays we see that almost commonplace, guys coming out of the bullpen and throwing 96, 97, but in the 80s that was not commonplace. You were kind of a big deal.
Yeah, we had some guys in the league that threw pretty hard, but I mean, as far as left-handers, I don't think we had any that threw any harder. And I just enjoyed it, man. I love to hear that catcher's mitt pop, and especially if the guy swing and miss, it was even better.
What about nowadays? What are you enjoying nowadays? How are you spending your free time?
I'm totally retired. I was coaching in the Cardinal organization. I retired from that. I retired from coaching high school baseball. I retired from working in the school system. I just kind of just sit back and follow the local schools, play football and baseball now.
That sounds pretty wonderful. As a matter of fact,
I keep myself busy, because I'm always looking for some young talent to pass on to somebody.
Speaking of talent, you guys had a pretty good third baseman on those teams in the mid-80s. You remember that guy?
We call him Herbie. Michael Jack. We had all kind of funny names. But Mike Schmidt was one of the greatest Phillies I ever played with. And he's been recognized like that even today. He done things with the baseball bat that a lot of guys couldn't do then. I mean, his wrist was so strong, and just flicked the bat and the ball would jump off his bat.
He's a pretty good broadcaster, too. He's over there in the booth.
Oh, God.
Hey, Schmidt is going to be good at whatever he does anyway. I don't worry about him on that respect.
As Tyler Goodell gets out of the way of that one. What's that, Tom?
No, that's me. I was wondering if he could hear us.
Yeah, well, he can't, but I can pass it along.
Oh, all right. I love Al Holland. There was nothing like playing defense behind Mr. T. He was lights out, no doubt about it, and a great guy. And now his wife's working him to death around the house. She told me he can fix anything.
He said he knows you're working hard around the house now, but he said it was a pleasure playing behind you, and he loved. He said lights out for Al Holland. It certainly is great to catch up with you and get a chance to talk.
It's always good to come back. I'll call this my second home anyway. So the fans and the organization, everybody in Philadelphia treated me with the utmost respect, and I love them for it.
Well, they loved you too. Thanks for the memories. We appreciate it. And I'll send it back to the booths by saying that as a 12-year-old, I tried so hard to grow the mustache and the beard. Yeah, I still can't grow it, but man, oh man, it would have looked good if I could have done it.
He had to look.
He did.
Al had to look. We've had some great closers over the years. obviously Bedrosian and Al for sure. We all know about Tug, but I mean, two guys that had that looked the part.
Yeah.
You know, Bedrosian and Al Holland.
Oh yeah, they were intimidating too, I would think, when they were out on the mound.
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, that's all part of the
act.
Yeah, the closer's act. You got to have it. It's like the Gossage look, you know.
Or the mad Hungarian,
Yeah,
Al Hrabosky.
right.
What was it like when Al jumped in your arms?
Oh God, I don't know how my lower back survived that, but you know, I probably could have picked up, you know, a ton at that point in time. You know, a ton could have jumped in my arms and I could have held it. We were so fired up.
Well, that was a fun year. As Murph said, went on to be an all-star in '84 after that '83 season. Freddie Galvis, the batter. Tyler Goodell tried to move Carlos Ruiz into scoring position, but Russin was able to force him out at second base. Inside to Galvis. 1 ball, 1 strike.
You talk about a quick game. Get you some John Denny and Al Holland.
Boom, boom, huh?
It's usually, you know, 2 hours max. In 1983.
Little tapper foul, and it's 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Galvis. Interesting, he was talking about, you know, taking over for Tug in '83. There was such a transition going on at that point in '83. Sarge coming over, you know, all the different changes the Phillies made to then win the National League pennant and go on to play the Orioles in the World Series. Over to third, Arenado. Quickly to second for 1, and over to first in time. And around the horn, 5-4-3 double play.
'83 was a fun year for everybody.
A lot of the '83 guys are back here celebrating Alumni Weekend. We have played 6 on to the 7th, 1-run lead for the Phils. Time now for your Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary by those shots. There's a lot that's been going on here tonight. The Phillies scored 3 in the first on the home run by Maikel Franco. Franco then scored the 4th run of the game in the 4th inning after he was hit by a pitch by Tyler Anderson, who was then ejected from the game after hitting him. The Rockies, though, have stormed back to score 3 in the 6th inning. Daniel Descalso hit a 2-run home run. Tony Walters hit a solo home run. And now as we go to the 7th, the Phils will go back to their bullpen. Altair will move from center field to left field. And on in center field is Odubel Herrera. And the new pitcher is right-hander Michael Marriott, who's pitching in his 4th ball game since being brought up from the minor leagues. 3 innings, 5 strikeouts, good slider, lively fastball. And he will face Carlos Gonzalez here in the 7th inning. Eric Cooper is going over the lineups, the lineup adjustment with Tom Runnels that the Phillies have just made. Garcia went a third of an inning, hit one batter. Eric Cooper was just adjusting the lineup for the Phillies. I don't know if Pete had originally told him that Herrera was going to bat in the 9 spot. I think we're ready to go. Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief, was holding things up for a moment. I think he just liked the end of the song, Taking Care of Business, that was playing through the PA system. So here's Carlos Gonzalez in a 1-run game. Gonzalez is 1 for 3. And a pitch inside, 1-0. Well, some heavy lifting again for the Phillies bullpen. With this 1-run game. They've played a lot of 1-run games. Two balls and no strikes. Phillies will have to make a roster move after this ball game because Adam Morgan is going to start tomorrow. By the way, up at Coca-Cola Park in Lehigh Valley, they are going to resume play, but look at the lightning that flashed over there, huh?
That's awesome.
That's beautiful.
That's Ansel Adams right there. They are back underway in the top of the 6th inning. Indies up 2-1. Hope that didn't hit anything. 3-1 now to Gonzalez. Got him out front, pops it up again over toward Franco. Galvis is there as well, and Galvis makes the call finally and makes the catch. Every time the Phillies pitchers retire, the opposition 1-2-3, which Jared Eichhoff did one time tonight. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Here's Arenado. Arenado is 0 for 3. Hit into a double play, flied out to right, and grounded out to third. And a line drive caught by Franco at third. Arenado didn't even barely leave the box. 2 outs. That is somewhat useful.
He got that down off the end of the bat a little bit.
Yeah, out in front of the off-speed pitch.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about Arenado facing Marriott. It's amazing in this day and age how often hitters go to the plate and are unsure, have no history, haven't faced the pitcher they face. People don't realize that.
Yeah, you can watch all the video you want.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
It's not the same. You don't know the late movement, how heavy the ball is.
No idea what their pattern, what pitches they like. I mean, people can tell you about them all they want to tell you about them until you've actually been in there and seen the break of a curveball or the tendencies of a changeup. We used to complain about having to face somebody we'd never seen before in spring training. Oh God, what's this guy got? You mean you have to actually look for the ball? You can't guess?
Fastball in there, 1-2. Got him. 94 in, right where Ruiz wanted it. A 1-2-3 7th inning for Michael Mariette. Rockies go down in order. We'll stretch, and then Odubel Herrera will get his first hacks of the night.
lead as we move to the bottom of the 7th inning. Odubel Herrera will get his first hacks of the night. Time now for a Hyundai defensive plays of the game. We'll go back to the first inning.
There's a couple of them right here. Man up first and second. Nice ground ball for the 5-4-3 versus Arenado. He's a very dangerous hitter. Great feed, great turn by Cesar at second base. 5th inning, bases loaded. Gonzalez, first pitch swinging. Get the lazy fly ball to Michael Franco. Quality pitch when he needed to. That's why that's your Hyundai defensive play of the games. Brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Well, the Phils are going to need a little more defense and their bullpen as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning with this 1-run game. Wolfpack is warming up. I think they're going to pay a visit to the Fanatic on top of the dugout once we get to the top of the 8th inning. Carlos Estevez will be the new pitcher. Estevez, 46th game, 2-7, a 5.05 ERA.
Very good fastball. Will top out at 99. Guess he can't get to 100. Slider 83 to 88 and a change 88 to 91. I love those scouting reports. 96 to 99.
That's a high ERA for 96 to 99, huh? Odubel takes 99, and it's 0-1.
But it just proves to you how, you know, Mike and I talk about this all the time, but how guys throw this hard, but the hitters still have very good swings at them on a consistent basis.
Swing and a miss. That was 89.
That's a
10-mile-an-hour difference.
That's the changeup.
You think?
That's a pretty good combo.
Looked like the same pitch to me. There was 10 miles an hour difference.
10 miles an hour difference. By the way, heck of a job by Rustin tonight in relief of the starter, Tyler Anderson, as Odubel is down on strikes to start the 7th inning.
Wow. How about wasting one?
We didn't even have a time to break down Herrera's swing.
I hate 98 when you're 6'6".
Outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes.
Because that's being delivered not from 60 feet 6 inches, but from like 52.
Yeah, it's certainly good to have leverage and using your size. One.
Well, you talked about the high ERA with the guy that throws this hard. Got 20 walks this year in 40 innings, 41 innings in the 3rd.
See the averages this year. Outside 2-2.
You think in the next 5 years, if 100 miles an hour will become, I wouldn't call it the norm, but you know, will the average velocity of pitchers now go up in the high 90s?
That's a good question.
I'm going to say the average fastball, after you see Cesar, does not matter how hard someone throws for another base hit. I think you're going to see the velocity eventually come down. I think we just hit a very good class of power arms in the draft the last 5 or 6 years. Just my opinion. But I think you're going to see in a couple of years a guy that throws 100 is something special again.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Peter Borges is now the batter. Borges tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk. Well, Estevez, they did try him as a closer. He saved 11 games. I guess the wildness probably got to them because Ottavino is closing now for the Rockies. His time is called.
Well, we'll see what kind of move he has to first base or how quick he is to home, because usually closers you can steal on because they concentrate on getting the hitter so much, not worry about base runners.
Well, you got the hold, the step off. What do they call that last move?
Boo.
Boo.
Gorgeous pop. Oh. Inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Oh.
Well, he missed a spot, but he gets it on the outer edge, and it's 1-2.
Oh, Caesar's not looking very aggressive over there.
A lot of the plate.
Yeah, I did. I thought the ball was outside. But
popped it up, foul. And Paulson gives it a look. It's out of play. Right over the top of the Fanatic.
You know what would be a great play for Cesar Hernandez is to, we know how quick he is, but learn to do the delayed steal.
Like Chooch does.
Yeah, like that big secondary third hop and then take off. He could catch a lot of guys sleeping because pitchers are going to change their delivery. They're going to be quick to home. When you don't hear it going and he doesn't do the secondary lead or does the delay very often, he can get a lot of guys sleeping.
Borges hit by the pitch. Hopefully that hit him. Well, I don't think it did. I was going to say in the elbow guard. That was 97 that got a piece of Peter Borges. And it'll put runners on first and second for Altair. Well, by the looks of it, right hand.
Right in the hand. Yeah, he's calling out the trainer.
Oh, boy. That's not a good sign when the player calls the trainer out because he knows there's something going on.
Back to your point about the delayed steal as we look at this pitch where it hits Peter.
Forearm?
Forearm. Bottom of the forearm. Now that beats the heck out of
the hand.
The hand, the fingers.
He's probably feeling it in his fingers, though. It's 97, though, boy.
But Matt, the delayed steal. I mean, it has a place in the game. It does for certain players, but that basically is taking on the infielders, right?
Right.
Your delayed steal is catching infielders napping or hanging their head or looking at out in the outfield. And it usually only works one time, once or twice.
And it does. And
there's scouts in the stands.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It is a good time to pick a time to do a delayed steal. And like you said, you might only get it one time because afterwards they're not going to get lazy. I just find with guys who are base stealers, if they're not going on the original jump, a lot of guys kind of give up on them and put their head down and drop their head, or the catcher doesn't come out and get aggressive to throw to second base.
The ball's in 1 strike to Aaron Altair. Altair is 0 for 2 with a walk. He tried to hold up. He went around. So here's 99 from Estevez, and he throws 2 breaking balls to Altair.
And when someone's that tall, it really gives you I want to say, a depth perception problem because they're so big. They almost look like they're handing the ball to the catcher, and it's really hard to stay back.
Back toward the middle and into center field, a base hit. Hernandez will speed home. Borges will go to third. It's bobbled by Blackmon. It's a 5-3 game. An insurance run, a much-needed insurance run on the RBI single by Aaron Altair.
You know, back in the day, we used to say, man, I was scuffling. I was strike one, strike two, and man, I'll tell you, I was just trying to, hoping he'd hit my bat, and that's what that looked like. It looked like Aaron Altair just trying to do anything he could to make contact, and probably was a little bit of a bad pitch. You know, it got the inside corner, backup slider. Probably would have liked to have bounced something or thrown a high fastball, but credit Aaron Altair for forcing that ball into the middle of the field to get that big RBI, that fifth run for the Phillies. Very big.
Second run scored tonight for Cesar Hernandez. And now Tommy Joseph, even with a fly ball, can score another run.
That goes back to the knack for RBI. Understands what it takes to get guys in.
Runners lead off first and third. Tommy gets it out towards center field. Blackmon going back toward the wall. He has room, jumps and makes the catch. Tagging from third is Borges, going to second Altair. Sac fly for Tommy Joseph. 6-3 Phillies on top. Boy, that ball carried.
You're right. When he first hit it, I thought it was going to be deep enough. Does a nice job of getting back there quick enough.
Yeah, I thought Tommy probably thought he didn't quite get it all. I mean, if it was batting practice, it probably would have dropped over the fence. But it was a catchable ball. He had a little too much up in the air. Did the job, though. Big run. 3-run lead now.
And Maikel Franco's the hitter in the bottom of the 7th inning with 2 outs. Takes a fastball down and away. 1 ball and no strikes.
You know, you talk about this pitcher and his size and intimidating stuff, how hard he throws the ball.
Off the end of the bat.
He found a way to get in trouble in that inning, give up a couple of runs.
Well, the hit batter, the single by Hernandez sort of set things up for Altair. And then Joseph, 3-run lead for the Phils as we go to the 8th inning. You buy Toyota. The annual clearance sale is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Buy Jefferson. Call 800-JEF now or visit jefferson.edu. And buy Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. Well, I would say the Wolfpack is the original mascot fan group They were always at Randy Wolf's starts. In fact, at one point, you saw the one shot at the vet. I mean, there had to be 20 of them that had the Wolf costumes, Wolf masks. They're here tonight in honor of Randy throwing out the first pitch and officially retiring as a Philly. Farewell to the Wolf Pack. It's almost as if they came back 10 years later and did a new TV show just to kind of say goodbye.
I wonder if Randy ever got a chance to hang out with him, get a picture with him. Or
today, you mean?
Anytime.
Oh, I think he definitely has. Yeah, he definitely has. Here's Descalso against Eddie Ramos. Aderbry to pitch the 8th inning, and he delivers a fastball for strike 1. Had some decent size innings tonight by others in the bullpen, like Marriott and Garcia getting the last out for Eichhoff. That ball scorched past Hernandez. Descalso with his 2nd hit. So he leads off the 8th inning. Ben Paulson's coming up. Let's check in with Greg Murphy. Murph.
All right, thanks, Tom. It's time now for our greater coverage of baseball presented by T-Mobile. And, well, you only get one chance to make a first impression. How about Tyler Austin and Aaron Judge last night for the New York Yankees making their major league debuts? They both got up in the 2nd inning, and they both homered in their first at-bats as major leaguers back-to-back. That is the first time that has ever happened in Major League Baseball history. And I got to bet it's the last time it'll ever happen, too. So interesting stuff there. News out of Washington. Jonathan Papelbon has asked and received his release from the Washington Nationals. After Friday night's game, he was told by the team he was going to be designated for assignment. He then asked for his release in hopes that he could catch on with another team instead of having to wait the 10 days. The Washington Nationals said yes, he is now out there on the free agent market. And we've been keeping you up to date on the hit streak that was happening in minor league baseball. Francisco Mejia, the catcher for the Cleveland Indians, he's a switch hitting catcher for them, one of the top prospects in baseball, had hit in 49 straight games. It's the 6th longest hit streak in baseball history. Well, it came to an end tonight at 49. He was 0 for tonight in their ball game, but hey, 49 games in a row, not too shabby for Mejia. We'll be seeing him up in the big leagues probably pretty soon, guys.
Yeah, the all-time record is a 69 game hitting streak. 49. No, Murph, that's not too shabby. And how about the two Yankee guys? I mean,
I watched that.
They release Alex Rodriguez. They call these two guys up. They're playing together. They play together in the minor leagues today. One guy wears 99, as we saw, Aaron Judge.
There's a large human being.
Large human being.
Oh yeah, saw him in spring training.
So he hits the 2nd longest home run in the season for the Yankees.
Straightaway center.
Straightaway center. And, you know, it's funny watching it as that pitch is on the outside corner. You know, they were wondering, has it ever happened in Major League Baseball? As Murph said, it never. I mean, how could it? Your first game in the big leagues, go back-to-back. Yankees are on a little bit of a hot streak after that win today.
4 wins in a row.
Here's Ramos's numbers. Tack on another strikeout for him. Then Walters is coming up. But, Mike, you're right. We did see Judge in spring training the last couple of years.
The arms coming out of the Phillies bullpen continue to amaze me. You know, there's another quality young pitcher right here. And Neris, I mean,
what a story.
I'm talking about Gomez, but Neris is one of the top relievers in the league.
I think his split is one of the top splits. I mean, you go around and talk to different guys about it. Just the movement on it alone and the deception. Fastball 0-2.
Well, and it doesn't hurt when you throw 96. You see a lot of guys so far in front of that split finger because you got to gear up for a 96. Then the next thing you know, he throws the lane changer or the bat misser.
0-2 pitch. Outside, 1-2. Two balls and 2 strikes to Walters.
That's an interesting situation, though, with Papelbon asking for his release and being granted it. You would think that they would want to designate him for assignment, and if someone claims him,
Right.
then they're on the hook for the contract, not the Nationals. But now, giving him the release, Nationals have to pay 100% of the contract, and a new team can pick him up for what's the minimum, $450 or whatever the minimum is. That's what they can pay him.
Do you think there's a team out there that will give him a shot? I mean, do you think the team up in Boston would give him a shot again? I mean, you know,
I don't know.
Jonathan's got.
You have nothing to lose.
I mean, he doesn't have the same fastball, but he still is fearless.
Right.
But he doesn't have the same fastball.
But you know, if you need an arm and you can get him for, oh Lord, you'd give for $100,000.
Swing and a miss. Walters is down on strikes, 2 away. Major league minimum is $490,000.
Right, so that's basically he's not going to be getting the $490,000. He's going to get a percentage of a month and a half, which a team would have to pay him.
Right.
That's not Papelbon. That's just his jersey.
Well,
he could be.
He does have time in his hands.
That's true.
Well, 2 outs, and here is Gerardo Parra.
I would think someone definitely pick him up.
I would too. I would be shocked if no one did.
Breaking ball, 0-1. Parra started last night's ball game. Boy, his fastball is alive tonight. Really is. I mean, the breaking pitch is alive too, but he's 96, 97, and it's got some zip on it.
It has zip on it. And what it made, because it looks so hard because it's at the top of the zone. Like his fastball, I would say, is almost the same as Hector Neris. They don't really have that downhill fastball. They have the flat plane fastball that has a little rise to it.
A very similar style too. Very similar windup.
Ruiz out to talk with him with the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Aderbry, who doesn't speak a lot of English, so we're out in Los Angeles the other day. We have a stage manager by the name of John Reynolds. He's wacky.
A little bit.
So he's down on the field and he wants to start taking photos. So it was me, Larry Anderson, and Ben. And then Ramos comes walking off and he puts him in the picture. Ramos has no idea why he's in the photo. He just wanted to take a photo. Ramos just started smiling. He was happy to do it. Fastball outside, 1-2. Had no idea why he was in the photo. Runner at first. Parra is set. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just missed outside. 2-2. You think both thought that was a strike?
Well, no, I think maybe he was telling somebody in the dugout something.
Popped him up. Cesar Hernandez on the right side of the infield is under it. And the inning is over. Scoreless inning for Aderbry Ramos. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 man left. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Phillies lead is at 3.
Series with the Dodgers. It wraps up on Thursday night at 7:05, and the first ever post-game concert here at Citizens Bank Park will feature country music star Chase Rice. Now, your ticket for the game counts as your ticket for the concert. So you buy a ticket for the game, come see the Phillies play the Los Angeles Dodgers, stay for the post-game concert. If you want to be part of country music night here at Citizens Bank Park, go to Phillies.com/Chase Rice. Murph is actually going to sit down and talk to Chase Rice that night prior to the concert. He's a big baseball fan. Looking forward to that. Here's Jake McGee. McGee is also closed for the Rockies this year. They've gone through Estevez, McGee. In fact, they had just transitioned from McGee when we were out in Denver. And Ottavino, who is the current closer. Carlos Ruiz takes a strike. It's 0-1. It'll be Ruiz, then Taylor Featherston is a pinch hitter.
You talked to Carlos about his new stance. How did he come about it?
BP, batting cage. Says he just felt when he was standing in the batting cage that he didn't have to worry about staying down on that baseball, like using the lower half. He says with the new stance, with his hands up high, everything is relaxed.
I love it.
And I do too. And all he has to do, it's an old school stance.
Definitely. It's like, here, look at me. I am so relaxed. I don't have a tight muscle in my body. And watch how quick I am. Well, he does have a little cock, you know, a little mini cock with his front leg there. Nothing big.
I guess the key is that his hands get back. They get the separation. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ruiz. And he pulls that one down the left field line. Carlos should get to second with his 6th double of the year. So he's in scoring position to start the bottom of the 8th inning. Why not get a couple more runs?
Makes you so quick when you're relaxed.
Yeah.
All the way through the swing, and then it's like getting a new toy, you know, when you're a hitter. You go, isn't this fun?
When it works.
Where was this my whole career?
Well, it's just amazing how just there's nothing, like you said, there's no tight muscle, but watch him just throw the barrel. That's a good swing, short stride, and it's still a powerful swing.
So now Featherston. See if he tries to get him over to third base. Swing and a miss, 0-1. Featherston 1 for 9 as a pinch hitter.
I'm going to roll the dice and say push bunt, go for a base hit. If it doesn't work, you still get him to second or third base.
I thought he might bunt here.
I mean, it's a 3-run lead, yes, but I just think there's but then again, guys coming off the bench, not a lot of times are they asked to sacrifice. And they come off the bench, but this is a situation where, hey, if I go ahead and push bunt to second base,
You're getting a lot of knuckles when you come in the dugout.
you're right, you are.
You're a heady baseball player. You're a team player. You know how to play ABC baseball, right? All kind of good things can happen.
Tommy Joseph, Ryan Howard chatting in the dugout. Tommy was one of the first guys to greet Howard after his grand slam last night as Featherston goes down on strikes. Pretty good chance that Howard plays tomorrow with the right-hander on the mound. So 1 away. Here's Freddie Galvis. Galvis tonight is 1 for 3. He's popped out, singled, and drove in a run, grounded into a double play. 5-4-3.
That's a great picture right there. Ryan Howard and Tommy talking on the top step there. Tommy Joes is a wonderful young man.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ryan's a good guy.
Swing and a miss. 0-1 to Galvis.
Now, speaking of standing tall, totally relaxed stances, what do you think about Freddie trying that stance?
He's had so many different stances already this year.
Well, baby steps because his left-handed stance is back to normal.
Down the right field line, Gonzalez on the run and makes the catch. Carlos will go back to second base. And here's Odubel Herrera. Odubel struck out looking his first time up.
Yeah, Odubel walked right into a buzzsaw here tonight. He had 398 mile an hour fastballs, and now he gets to hit his second time against this left-hander.
He was good against lefties the first half of the year, and even all of last season. It's been since the All-Star break he has struggled against them. Genmar Gomez with the Phillies maintaining a 3-run lead at this point. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Padres and the Mets are to the bottom of the 10th inning, tied at 2. DeGrom, 1 earned run over 7. Cozart, 1 earned run over 6. It's up to the bullpens now. Phillies are just 4.5 behind the Mets as we speak in the division.
San Diego actually tied that game top of the 9th.
Against Familia. Will Myers hit a home run off Familia. Boy, he had such a good first half of the year, Familia. Not the same here in the second half. Swing and a miss, 2-2. Boy, Dubel's had some tough swings recently.
Well, yeah, he does, and it's all about his balance. It's all about his stride. There is no stride. Pitch selections.
Got a good swing in there. I like when he goes into that 2 strikes on making contact swing. You know, it's kind of a little handsy swing where he just flips the ball to left field. Or I mean, we've seen him hit home runs, right?
Yeah.
With that approach. When you're used to starting ball games, it's so tough to come into one in the 7th. It is. I mean, for me, it's like a whole new world coming off the bench and playing in a game if you didn't start it.
So he strikes out for the second time. Phillies leave one in scoring position. So we're going to head to the 9th inning here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies trying to make it 3 in a row. They'll turn the baseball over to Genmar Gomez to see if he can close it out for the Phils. Phillies on top 6-3.
Here to break down Jared Eichhoff's 5+ innings tonight, and also what this offense has done against the Rockies. Only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies postgame live. I'm sure he'll talk about the way this bullpen has really stepped up in the ball game so far tonight. Jeanmar Gomez will take over as we move to the top of the 9th inning, as the Phils try to close out another one against the Rockies and move to within 8 games of the 500 mark. Jeanmar so far 29 saves in 32 opportunities. 2.56 earned run average. He'll face the top of the order, and it'll begin with Charlie Blackmon. So far 2 1/3 scoreless by the Phillies bullpen. Garcia, Marriott, and Ramos. First pitch is in there, 0-1. Gomez had 24 saves before the All-Star break. He's only had 5 since the break. That's not necessarily his fault. The Phillies just went through a little bit of a funk after the All-Star break, winning-wise. Oh, 2. He is currently 5th in the league in saves. Swing and a miss. 1 out.
And that's twice Blackman's gone down on a backdoor slider.
I guess Carlos recognized that.
First time Eichhoff to that backdoor slider. This time here, Jeanmar Gomez, you can see the grip. Great pitch. Because one, you kind of give up on it when it comes out of the hand. And then by the time you recognize that it's going to be a strike, well, you saw what happened on that side view. You're completely late on it.
Fastball, 0-1. He's firing some strikes tonight, isn't he?
That he is.
Two balls and 2 strikes. LeMahieu's ground out to shortstop back in the 6th inning. That may have been one of the bigger at-bats in this ball game, because the Rockies had runners on 2nd and 3rd. That's a credit to Luis Garcia. Ball's hit sharply through the hole. We say that because that's his 3rd hit of the night.
Yeah, the kid's a hitting machine. Up in the 330s probably now.
Yeah, he's at 332 after his 3 hits tonight. So that was a big out
And now Carlos Gonzalez.
Well, this is a big out, too, because we want to keep that tying run away from home plate.
Out to left center field. That's well hit. Going back on it is Altair, and it's over his head off the Xfinity sign. Played well. The hold LeMahieu at third. The throw to second is not in time. And Gonzalez is safe at second. Now Cesar points to the dugout, so they'll take a look at it.
Well, he beat the ball. I don't know if
definitely beat the ball.
his
Yeah.
hand popped up or popped off or not. It's amazing how these. I don't remember back when I played, guys holding tags as long as they do now.
I think you guys knew how to slide a little bit better than today's generation.
But I'm glad he saved that double for the ninth inning here, as opposed to earlier in the game. He's been up in a couple of key at bats.
Well, it looks like he holds onto the bag the entire time. They will not review it. So second and third. It's a 6-3 ball game, so the tying run is coming to the plate here. And Nolan Arenado is the hitter. Arenado is 0 for 4.
Find it interesting that the outfielders are playing extremely deep, but the corners are playing off the line.
They are deep, and you're right. They're cutting off the alleyways. 1-1, 93 on that one.
Yeah, people think sometimes that when you play deep in the outfield, it's for a ball not to get over your head. That's part of the reason, but another reason is to cut off the balls that get into the gap and doesn't allow you to get to the wall, and it's a long single.
Fouled it off Ruiz. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Time to finish them off here.
I think it's a matter of manager, how he feels. I mean, I used to be a guard the line guy. I don't know, just came up through that time in baseball when you guarded the line. They have more information now than we did back then, but I just believe that obviously if he grounds over the third base bag, they're 1 hit away from tying the game. If you keep him to a single, they're 2 hits away from.
Swing and a miss, 2 outs.
Big out right there,
Sure
guys.
was. Larry getting the defense set.
Well, elevation of a fastball, not even close.
You think he was expecting something else or just a different location?
No, I think by the way by his body action there, it's like he felt like he was trying to just poke the ball, try to get a sacrifice fly to right field. The ball just exploded at home plate.
Dahl pops it up, and that'll be out of play.
It's a long way from over. This kid's hit the ball hard 2 or 3 times tonight.
2 doubles in the game.
You know, with 2 outs here, I might consider Tommy stopping the ball from going over the bag at first base.
Put him closer to the line.
Well, you know, I mean, again, it's personal preference for the manager and Larry, Sammy.
Oh, 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. Don't forget, coming up, Ricky Bottalico will break this one down. He had 30 saves for the Phillies 2 different times. Genmar trying to get 30 here. The 0-2 pitch. Inside, didn't run all the way back, so it's 1-2. Jose Mesa's 45 saves in a season is the most by a Phillies closer.
And he was not fun to face because he was mean. He threw hard, and he had one of the best split fingers that I've seen in a long time.
1-2 to Dahl. Fouls it again down the left field line. And Ruiz will run the ball out to the mound. There are guys in the Phillies franchise history that might be unorthodox closers. You know, Heathcliff Slocum, although he was nasty at times, he had more than 30 saves once for the Phillies. Genmar, if he reaches 30 saves here tonight, if you go down the list of guys that reach 30 or more saves for the Phillies, this would be the most surprising name, I would think, on the list, would be Genmar Gomez, because he's never closed before.
And really, he was your 5th choice coming into the season.
No question he was your 5th choice.
I don't even think he was on the ballot.
1-2 pitch. Outside 2-2. Yeah, he was a write-in, Matt. He was a write-in on the ballot. 2-2. You're right, though. Think about it. Bailey, Hernandez, Dyer Hinojosa. I guess even Mujica.
Fury.
Ernesto Frieri, yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gomez has his signs. Runners on 2nd and 3rd. Tying run at the plate. And a breaking ball on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. Genmar Gomez, his 30th save of the season. And the Phillies win it 6-3. The Phillies now with 103 wins against the Rockies, the most for any team outside of the National League West. They've won 3 straight. They're within 8 of 500. Maikel Franco got them off on an early note with a 3-run bomb in the 1st inning, and he is our Chevrolet player of the game. Well, a couple good ball games for the Phils. Some tense moments, yes, but a couple of very good ball games with 2 victories over the Colorado Rockies. W. Mesa delivery of the game, the hit by Franco.
Happened in the 1st inning. First pitch to him, hanging changeup right over the middle. I think Maikel knew he got that right when he hit it. 3-run home run kind of set the tone for this game. Phillies never lost the lead. And that is your W.B. Mason delivery of the game.
And Maikel Franco is down on the field with Greg Murphy. Murph?
All right, thank you very much. Well, you got things started off on the right foot in the 1st inning with that 3-run home run. 3-run home runs always go a long way to helping teams win ball games. That one came off of your bat, and it was no doubt about it.
I mean, you know, it's a beautiful thing. After the game yesterday, the first play, just tried to get in relax, tried to put something on the table, tried to just hear my thing. It's a beautiful thing for me, and like I said, I'm glad for that, and I had to continue to do that.
Well, it was a good start. Then you come back up in the 4th inning, and things are a little different. You get hit on the knee. First of all, I just asked you, you're okay, right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right.
Tell us a little bit about what happened after that. Was Tyler Anderson chirping a little bit?
I mean, he said I'm sorry because he don't want to hear my birthday, but like I said, it's happening again. So I don't think about that way. I'm just the bad way. I throw it away the right way, and like I said, I have to continue to do that. I try to come in and do everything that I can do possible for my team, and that's just what it is about. So I totally forget that, and I have to continue to.
Most importantly, you guys get the win, and this team is back to winning ways and scoring runs in the month of August. Over 6 a game right now you're averaging. What is different about this offense right now?
I mean, you know, the offense, he do a pretty good job right now. Just the little thing, they have to continue to get him over and drive him in, sacrifice flies. Those kind of things we be together right now. And like I said, I'm excited for that, and I want to continue. Everybody want to continue to put something on the table and try to just get every day coming in and try to win the ball game.
Little things help you win ball games. 3-run home runs will help you win ball games as well. Guys, we'll send it back upstairs. Thanks,
All right, Murph, thank you. Here's Jedmar Gomez. It is the 16th time a Phillies pitcher has recorded 30 saves or more in a season. Jedmar Gomez with number 30 here tonight. We'll be back to wrap it up right after this.